Once Jace, Rise, Renekton, get Merc Treads, it's a free win. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm not sure if I agree with that. You know, I think that Malphite will always have good value, honestly. And of course, the Merc Treads don't stop the... Honestly, you probably need to go Swifties on the Rise is the problem. If you don't go Swifties versus the Anivia, you don't really get to play the game. Okay, Tarzan is behind them. Kyle could damage onto him. Vampire and Ginger pumping up fairly well for the poke onto Kyle. Not that it matters that much right now. Almost coming up again. Meganar is available. Tarzan could fly at them. I think anyone's Legends want to bait in the fight if they can. Ooh, Honkyu's quite low here now. Fang's having a better time trading against him this time. This is where the matchup really starts to get a bit problematic. Crystallized in there. Tarzan spotted taking the Raptors. I don't think they want this fight. Vampire, I'm not sure about that. First knockup lands, so they land another one. Might be, oh my god, that's a lot of damage. He flashes away. Vampire, not understanding the threats he was under. Loses flash and ult. That's a problem. You really don't want to be giving that kind of summoner away. It's very important that Vampire has his flash and ult available for these fights. Gala doing a good job against Hope. Ginger looking for that poke. Does he kill Hope from here? No, not. Misses anyway. Of course, Ginger lost a game on the Jace earlier in the week versus Weibo, where he didn't build Edge of Night. Got caught out by a Leona stun and died. Ended up throwing the game back towards the enemy team, despite having an early lead. JDG have been good at getting those early leads. I think they've probably been our best early game team in the LPL. On average, anyway. Problem is containing those leads. And, or rather, converting those leads and actually turning them into wins. Dragon spawning now. Anyone's Legend has such a good team fight this game, but I don't think JDG have a poor team fight. They get the combo in, and with Rise, Renekton, Ziggs gets a ton of damage. It'd be a big problem for them. Problem is coming up to dragons like this. If Vampire doesn't have ult and flash, it's a problem. His ult's coming up now. Won't have that flash. Ginger, gotta be careful. Vampire again, remember, no flash. His ult is up. I'm not sure it will save him, though. Tarzan is really quite tanky as well on the Malphites. Gonna go in, might choose to trade his life for this one. Oh, he doesn't even need to. They clump up. And folks, I think this might be where the game falls apart. They lose the dragon. Their gold lead starts to fall apart. Jace gets shut down and Tarzan gets on the board even more. Gala uses his combo already, so he doesn't have crazy amounts of damage left. It's on Honky to do something. Even then, good sidesteps from Hope there. Teleport back in, though. They want to fight this. Flash from Honky has to go out to the play. Gala also has to flash. Hope will follow him. Or rather, Hope flashes first. Gala will follow him. Ah, the dragon's low now, though. JDG, they might be able to get back onto this. Malphite can't get into the pit. Does Kyle have a support spellbook smite? No. Okay, all right. JDG lose some flashes, but they will get the dragon. Okay. Objective over to them. That's a bit of a coup. Ginger back out onto the map. Anyone's Legend win the fight, but they don't get the objective. Kyle did switch over to spellbook smite. Couldn't walk over and smite it in time, though. So Vampire, you know, losing that flash earlier around Raptors, really coming to bite him here. Gala trying to one-shot Kyle, can't quite manage it. Kyle goes in, gets the stun. Oh, the charm. He does die as he goes in, goes over the minefield, but he does get that charm. I think Kyle largely has had a very good game here again. Probably the MVP of the early game so far. Let's reassess the map again. Xiaoshu, big lead, 800 gold. About a level lead as well, that could be a problem. Again, Flandra was kind of dunked down upon by JDG, finding that recall from Tarzan in the jungle. That was funny as heck. We have seen Renekton's fall behind very, very far. We saw that from Bin versus 369, where Bin got exploded by 369. Hope is 3-0. And a little bit of gold to Gala, who got some plates, I believe. Jungle matchup, Junja has a lot of gold from kills, but Tarzan is still very powerful, make no mistake there. Even though there's a gold lead towards the Jace, the Malphite may well be just more useful because he's a Malphite, can press the R button. Xiaoshu has that Eclipse first item, interesting. Xiaoshu is one of the better Renekton players in the world, by the way. Very, very solid player of that champion. Ninja heading down. Flandra needs to be afraid to be on weak side again. Kyle's here. This is something which, again, other supports don't do as well. Kyle actually turns up to the play on the side lane a little bit more effectively than other supports. They're in time just in case something did happen. Of course, nothing happens there, but worth noting that a couple of other supports, we've called them out for not being there in time. Anivia pushing top side. Combined team on the other side looking for first turret in the bot lane. They do have the Ziggs. Easy take. Tarzan taking away a camp while he's over in the enemy side of the jungle. Down 1,000 gold. Herald is going to be put down mid lane though. Won't full kill the turret from here, but he'll take a good chunk out of it. They'll drive it in immediately. Poke from Junja. Oh yes, Malphite does not care for your damage. Does a little bit now that Gala comes in though. A lot of armor, not that much magic resist. Turret taken by Shanks. So 1-for-1 in terms of towers. First tower went to JDG, so they get a little bit more gold out of it. Is a Cloud Rift. Does that matter that much? I don't think Cloud Rift matters too much. It matters for Jace. Jace might be able to run out of some plays that he wouldn't have been able to before. He's gone for the opportunity second, by the way. He's going for the full poke build. I think in this game, you know, Edge of Night... Well, Edge of Night would be... No, it's not useful as the Malphite because it can smite you on the way in, actually. Well, it can be at some points, but... The JDG, once again, retain an early gold advantage. Not been converting them that well, though. I wonder what their win rate is with a lead at 15. Might actually be quite mixed. I feel like they've lost quite a few games from ahead. And mid and late game can sometimes be a bit worrisome when they're fighting around more complex macro, around side lanes. See that Xiaoshu continuing to eke out a lead on top side. Shanks and Hope are the ones with, well, slim lead for Hope, but Shanks is the one with the lead in mid lane. Somewhat expected from this matchup. Weirdly, you'd almost expect more. Honkyu had a good early laning phase, which helped him get that pressure to affect the map. Drag it up in 30 seconds. Anyone's Legend don't want to give that up if at all possible. Flandra. Ooh, goes into Mega. A bad trade back and forth there, actually. Kaiju fight. Hope not at his Muramana yet, worth noting. Gala close to his Shadow Flame, still hasn't bought that either. Would need one more recall. Xiaoshu wandering his way down. Flandra not teleporting down just yet. He's recalling. See what he can build out of base. Vision control being contested quite heavily now. Tarzan needs to keep his health up high. Celestial opposition blown on Vampire. Teleport coming in by the Gnar. Pushing their way into River. Malphite again helps you just walk into places. Lots of armor so that Jace Pope doesn't matter too much. We are fighting around this. Rise on the side. Flandra has that roll teleport, the roll quest teleport. He's gone mini though. That could be at Flandra, my dude. You don't want to be there. Exhaust onto him. Okay, good damage. Good damage. They use an exhaust. They use the Ziggs ult though. Do they lose mid lane turret for this? We'll see. Xiaoshu might go for big ult play. No, chooses not to slice through that last minion. So mid lane turret goes down. Flandra has Mega coming up now. Mid lane turret finished off by Anyone's Legend. Anyone's Legend just full resetting. Shanks. Oh, does he have an item on this back? That would change things. Ah, he has a Seraph's. Right, that does change things then. He will come back in. Flandra's recalling. He's coming back out onto the map. Does have Mega kind of primed and waiting. Vampire. Oh, dear. Vampire pops the ultimate. That Anivia is making his life hell. They go in after he flashes away. Jungle support alive for now, but just go down at the end of it. Thought they could make it out. Maybe. Not so easy. Jungle support for JDG hit the deck. Can the carries do anything more? Honkyu and Gala trying to buy space. Xiaoshu into the play. Great flash away by Kyle, but can they save the Anivia? Goes down into the egg. Kyle goes down because he goes in too deep trying to save him. Xiaoshu, that Renekton, really trying to carry. Has the last of the dominance, but can't just get away from it. I think he's slowed down. Hope is alive. And JDG fight back very well despite the fact that Vampire got caught out and couldn't escape the play. Junja, of course, discovering the problem of the Jace. Trying to walk in. Do they have a spellbook smite? They do. It's going down very low. Ends up getting taken by the Gnar of all people. A great fight from Anyone's Legend. Punishing Vampire being out of position at the start. Oh, look at this. You know, he gets caught out. Has the flash. Has the ult. Blows the ult a little bit late. Loses half his HP. Can't combo in aggressively. Waits until they come out. Over the wall goes the Malphite. And the fight is effectively over. Very good fight from Shanks there to lock up the Alistar. Kyle does get a really good flash out here, and then he goes in, and he ends up just dying. Oh, he ends up dying to Gala. It's the Ludens which kills him. Right, okay. Gets hit by the splash damage onto another person. No, Shank's doing very well in that team fight there, locking off the support. Of course, like, Alistar struggles into champions like this. I am, you know, with that retrospectively, looking at, you know, Malphite and Anivia, you do wonder whether the Alistar was the correct choice. Would it have been better to go towards the Rel, even though you're much squishier? Would it have been better just to be able to hop over the wall in cases such as that? Anyone's Legend continuing to be a very scary team fighting team. Baron now started. Malphite can tank this for pretty much for forever. Has the Abyssal Mass now, by the way, to reduce some magic resist more. Now Junja does not... Well, he can't get into the pit, actually. That's a problem. They have a spellbook smite. Does that matter? Goes down quite low. No, Flandra quite low himself. He's going to go into melee range of Xiaoshu. Might be able to get the kill. What's the Malphite going to be able to do? The meat grinder has really started. Who has the damage to see it out? It's not bad damage check from JDG, but they can't quite get the kills. Junja, one last shock blast. Doesn't quite land. That might be the end of the fight. I think that was their chance to pick up those last kills. Anyone's Legend trade 1 for 2 and get the Baron. So they win the fight, get the objective. It's a good call from them. Just start it up. You got the tank, you got the damage. And JDG couldn't get into the pit. The Jace is a terrible objective stealer. If there is one real negative of Jace jungle, it's that he cannot steal objectives. He just dies on the way in. Too squishy. Is a glass cannon build, and now he's even in gold to the Malphite. You can see why the Malphite is also valuable, specifically into the Jace, but just in general. Carry junglers can't really do damage to him that well. And Malphite performs the regular jungle duties a little better. You know, Gala's been doing pretty damn good damage on the Ziggs. It's not his fault. Good charm there per Kyle. Stop Xiaoshu from getting the immediate combo and the empowered W in. Target just holds the front line down. Let it do him. Just holds the front line. And then Junja very, very nearly gets this shock blast. What happens here? Look at the angle. Oh, so close. No cigar. Jace has died. Vampire's caught out. Does have ult. This is looking okay for JDG, actually. Malphite dies. Realm Warp coming forwards. Kyle, does he have any more mobility? Shanks is not looking great here. This could be the end of the Baron push. Great fight from JDG. Where the heck did this come from? Everyone dying but Flandra. An overpush in bot side, perhaps? We need to see a replay of that. Junja died, but they kill off 4. JDG back into a gold lead. Baron's gone. Dragon in less than a minute. What the hell happened to Anyone's Legend? What the heck happened there? JDG finding a miracle fight. Junja dying. We need a replay of this. We absolutely do. So what happened here? Oh, Vampire had the flank. Vampire, who's been struggling the whole game, had really not been having a good time. Things gets a monster flank. They jump onto Junja. And then I suppose they just didn't expect the Alistar to come in. All flanked up for it. And then the Ziggs goes wild with the combo. Okay, Vampire. Vampire had a bad game. This one might have saved it, though. Incredible alco flank from the support. An overplay from anyone's Legend. Clumped up into the damage of the Rise. They go... I think really letting the Rise combo onto them was the problem there. The real damage coming through from Honkyu. Honkyu saving that fight, really. Dragon now up in 10 seconds. Anyone's Legend largely winning out the team fights up until this point. See if Kyle and Tarzan can have a similarly good fight to the last one. They have been really destroying the jungle support matchup here in this game, and just in general today, it feels like, actually. Kyle MVP from game 1. Solid Bard game. Vampire, no flash, does have ult. Not bad damage onto Flandra there, actually. Honkyu on the side. This Rise is really quite spectacularly terrifying now. Does get the jump out of there. Dragon going down. I think anyone's Legend will call the retreat, and they do. JDG get the Dragon. It's not their 4th, just the 3rd. Damage onto Shanks. Gala. Nasty. Turret goes down. 4,000 gold lead for JDG now. Anyone's Legend. That Baron push. Going too close to the Rise may have ended things for them. Honkyu getting that spell bounce onto all of them. You can see why the Rise is such a sought-after champion right now. Honkyu hitting level 16, so even more powerful on the EQ combos now. Okay, Kyle, Tarzan, and they find themselves that monster engage again. Worth noting that Junda is not really that far ahead now. Tarzan is going to be a huge issue. Gala and Honkyu, crazy amounts of damage coming out from the carry combo. Honkyu now 1,000 gold ahead of Shanks. I think, you know, Honkyu's Rise could be the game-ending threat from JDG. Flandra 2.5k down. Again, Flandra, a player who's individual laning we do worry about. Shamrock, thank you so much for the gift sub to Crossbow. Appreciate you. Three items for Hope. Has the Collector. Well, I suppose with an AP heavy topside. Oh, can they get the recall cancel? Oh no, Gala! Great flash away! Oh my god! Gala is one of the best reaction flash AD carries in the world. That... A pause? Are we really pausing for that? Gala's the one that does it. I don't know what to think about that, folks. What happens there? Okay, so what happens there? I'm gonna have to go look up what happened on the VOD itself. Let me see what happens in that clip. I'm gonna zoom back on my YouTube VOD. What happens here? So he's on vision. I'll slow all the way down. He's on full vision here. I mean, it's a really good flash. I don't see why that would be paused. I don't see why that would be paused. I don't see that. I mean, he clearly just flashes in time. Full vision. Now, why would he... Why would this get paused? Who called for it? I mean, it's a great flash from Gala. It's basically last frame he could have done it. We're back into game. Back into game. Nothing huge here. Oh, Gala, what a flash. Now, it is still a flashless Ziggs now. But why did this get paused? How? Oh, that's such a good reaction flash. Gala! What? If there's one player in the world you can trust to dodge, like, flash a skill shot, it is Gala. He is the best flash reaction carry in the world. How does he keep doing that? God, I just can't believe he keeps doing this. Shanks, no, hang on, Shanks. There's no one else on your side of the screen. You've got to hang on. Vampire does have flash. They're trying to blow it. Combo goes in. Good damage onto Shanks. Vampire, does he have to flash out? He might do. Flash down. They've been really good at taking this Alistar flash away from him. Vampire's had a pretty rough game. Besides the alcove play, really not had a good game. Kyle once again putting vision down. That kind of ward in mid lane can absolutely win you a game. Actualizer built up for Honku, death cap for Gala. JDG managing to stop that Baron push may have saved that game for them. Anyone's Legend were in utter control. Jungle support dominating the opposition. But after that, it has felt like Anyone's Legend have struggled to make big plays. They've not been able to get into those team fights in the way that they wanted to before. I'll stop the recall here, yeah. Xiaoshu does it himself. Dragon in less than a minute. Kyle trying to put down that vision. A very experienced Rakan player, a very successful one. Ooh, Vampire doesn't hack and they just jump onto him. They flash away from it. Ultimate down from Malphite now. Did smite away the spell shield. Tarzan at the level 16. Well, I suppose it's not the longest cooldown now, actually. Vampire, remember, he has no flash. Goes, oh, Vampire, not sure about that. Xiaoshu trying to get into the middle of the play. Kyle, they're going on to him instead. The Rakan is down. Honku caught down the other side. The Actualizer, good value. Now Xiaoshu going on to Tarzan. They can take down the jungler. Xiaoshu, that Renekton, powerful as ever. And it's Kyle getting focused down by Xiaoshu, which might change things. Shanks, low HP. What can Anyone's Legend do? What can they do? They can't walk in anymore. Their Nara's just not powerful enough. The Cloud Soul will be earned by JDG despite the hard work. Tarzan and Kyle. Xiaoshu on the Renekton, getting so far ahead of Flandre, who's fallen behind 2,000 gold, is the one to put the dagger between the ribs. Anyone's Legend. Oh boy, they might be really ruining what's happened over the last 5-10 minutes ever since that Baron failed for them. Realm Warp in, that'll be Baron. JDG won't be contested on this one, I don't think. They are walking over. I just don't think they can do much about it. Hang on, Shanks might be able to stop the recalls. Vampire, remember, no flash. Baron will go down. How much else happens around here? That is going to be the charm onto Honku. Not bad damage. Flandre goes in, had that roll teleport, I think, as well. Xiaoshu has the dominance back up again. Malphite is coming out of base, and Honku has a ton of damage. Hope can't get the damage back onto the Rise. Honku, so much damage. This Rise has been gutting Anyone's Legend when he gets in range. The solo laners of JDG saving the team, really. Tarzan and Shanks going into the enemy jungle. They're going to have to start really going back to the drawing board, getting their thinking caps on and trying to figure out a way out of this. You'll notice that Nivea's gone for the Banshees, by the way. Definitely struggles to some of this damage. Another great reaction flash, by the way. Came out of the fog of war. Smited away the spell shield. Had to flash that. He would have been killed. Tarzan getting some really important flashes. If he'd just gotten that kill onto Gala, perhaps this game would have been, again, in a much better point. Wonder whether Kyle could have flashed back and then looked for a charm afterwards. Xiaoshu kills him before that can happen. Now you have suddenly Jace, Ziggs, Siege. The ability to cut down towers so effectively. Yes, and Nivea is kind of an infinite wave clear machine, but it's quite hot. Hang on, they're jumping onto Honku! He doesn't have the flash! No! Honku alone in a lane! Goes down! The hero for JDG! Given a burial in the mid lane by the Malphites. Now, can Anyone's Legend find themselves another big player? Jumping onto the... Well, that's onto Kyle. He might go down, a 3-man unit. Where's the rest of the damage? Hope he has a flash. He's going to have to use it. He can't. Hope had to flash away. Doesn't use it. Gets cut down. A mistake from the AD carry. It's all on Shanks for the damage now, and I think JDG might have done enough to end out this game. Flandre at this Mega Gnar feels particularly mini. Shanks, good damage. I'm just not sure it's enough. The Anivia just has not done enough this entire game, really. JDG jump forwards. They clutch it out. The solo laners, the heroes of the day. How did they get away with this one? That should bring us to 3 games. Flandre down 3.4k. Xiaoshu and Hongqiu. Yes, Hongqiu died before this one, but Xiaoshu and Hongqiu, the heroes for JDG. Anyone's legend. They had the winning angle, lost their Baron, and JDG will bring us to 3. Thought this series would be over. Tarzan was having an excellent game on the Malphite, as with Kyle on the Rakan. And Anyone's legend slide away from the advantage. JDG bring us to 3. I think Gala's also a hero. Yep, no, fair call out. I think Gala was very consistent. Great damage from him. I think really the Hongqiu actualizer play under the bot lane turret, that's what kind of set the snowball rolling in their favor. And we go to 3. So it'll be a longer day today, I suppose. Well, longer than many. Okay, folks, I need to get myself another coffee. Gotta run some ads. Gotta make sure that the stream's all right too, actually. Again, sorry for the PC freeze earlier. Sadly, can't always do that much about that. It happens. Yeah, I'm going to put on an ad break. I'm going to go chill out for a bit because I hate it when PCs freeze. And I'll see you after the break. Hey, Macaria, how's it going? Thank you so much for the raid. We actually had a stream freeze earlier, so our numbers got a bit destroyed. Thank you so much. That helps us out an awful lot with that, actually, now. We're going to game 3 in our first series. Oh, I need to turn my camera off again. Because Anyone's Legend did just lose game 2 to JDG. They won game 1 fairly confidently. Game 2, they ended up losing on a Baron push, basically. The game kind of fell apart around that. I think Hongqiu on Rise and Xiaoxi on Renekton, probably the guys I give the most props for, but actually Gala I think was very consistent damage output. Like the hero plays were made by Hongqiu and Xiaoshu, the consistent plays were made by Gala. Worried about jungle support. Really did feel like Kyle and Tarzan really punished Ginger and Vampire. Vampire had one good alcove play. But outside of that, it really was Kyle and Tarzan running the map. JDG win? Well, I mean, if they do, they would be 2-0 over Anyone's Legend in the best of 3s. If they lose, though, they go to 4-4 in series, which is kind of crazy, given how we thought JDG might be best team in the league after they beat BLG and AL. They lost to Weibo twice, which, of course, didn't help. Oh, it was the Luden. Oh, my God, how did that end up killing him? Gala, that Luden's burst onto him ended up taking down, I think, actually. Middle of the damage after. Yeah, I think that Kyle, on the whole, actually had a very good game, as did Tarzan. They were, again, I think the jungle support from JDG has been... that's why I thought Anyone's Legend, you know, if they do get their jungle support out onto the map, probably are just going to win the series. Very nearly did that here as well, actually. They look very, very good when their jungle support out on the map and doing things. I was gone for 5 minutes, JDG had a lead. Yeah, basically this play here. But just look at how much damage Honku does. Honku just goes wild with the Actualizer. It's just Gala and Honku just gunning him down under that turret. Yeah, very entertaining series so far, folks. I heard that LCK was a little bit one-sided, so it's a bit sad to see that. By the way, we're getting to the point where we're going to get LPL best of fives pretty soon, too. I'm trying to remember exactly when they start. Because we have... I'm not sure... I'm actually not sure it's been announced yet, but I know that regular season ends on the 6th. Playoffs... starts on the 9th. Then I think there's a break for a bit after that. So it says Leaguepedia. Because I think there will be a break for Chinese New Year. Okay, I'm gonna go get myself a coffee real quick, then I'll be right back. I lied. I've got myself a Red Bull instead. Xiaoxi gets the MVP. He was excellent. Very, very far ahead of Flandre. And one of the worries for Anyone's Legend is their laning strength is not good enough, particularly from Flandre and Hope. If they fall behind, they become lost conditions. And sadly, I think that happened a little bit here. Now, typically Hope's been actually very solid for LPL domestically. However, I think that Hope in this game very much struggled, and I think that, well, we saw what happened with Flandre, right? I don't think that the Gnar had an impact on the game at all. There are worries. There are real worries for what happens with, yeah, with those carries, basically. Those members. This way slightly. No, that's not very helpful. No, that's not very helpful either. Do that and shift it down, maybe. That'll work. Sure, cool. Cool. Thank you for the follows, by the way. And Moonsaber, thank you so much for the Prime. I appreciate you too. Yeah, so I normally stream this with my brother, Sam. Initialise, you might have seen us on LPL like this before. You might have seen us on LEC. And yeah, we do this because there's no official LPL broadcast anymore. And, well, we enjoy doing it, but also we think that the LPL deserves some good coverage, you know? So yeah, if you choose to spend your LPL viewing experience here, we appreciate you, and if you do have the bandwidth to drop a like, follow, subscribe, there's a Ko-fi link and some socials you can follow as well. If you have the bandwidth for that, it does make a difference to us, because this is how we're trying to make a living, basically, and we're actually pretty close to doing that. It's very hard to be able to make a living off of streaming, but we're actually pretty close to it. I think with a couple of sponsors coming in, we're actually not too far off of becoming, vaguely self-sufficient, which is cool. Okay, got one last ad break to do, I suppose, for that. I already ran some before this, which is good. And yeah, and then obviously after this, folks, we still have another series to go. We have BLG IG, so presumably we'll get to see, you know, Bin play again, and we'll see whether BLG have got their acts together, because it doesn't feel like it right now. No, the games yesterday were rough, to say the least. Just don't let the sponsors cause you to make hostage video style product placement. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I mean, if it helps, I do try and look at, you know, of course I look into the sponsors which I get before I do them, and I do check that the products are like, you know, what as advertised, I suppose. I hope if you have to drink from any cans, you can do it naturally for your sponsors. Maybe. The thing is, I actually like Warhorse. Like, if I was, yeah, I like Warhorse. It's actually a pretty good drink. Oh, I mean, yeah, I would do that, you know? Hell yeah, give me some free Warhorse. I have to say, like, casting on the hours that we do. Oh, hang on, this is actually a really fun game. Let me show you. This is cool.
大家好，我是 JDG 的台野俊佳。
So this is basically Bondle, where you have, this is Lee Sin.
哦，想一下。
Or it's Nidalee. It's one of, it's Lee Sin or Nidalee.
韩冰，性别的。
So basically, this is like judging something from the character splash up. Yeah, it's Nidalee. There you go. We saw this one the other day, so this one's not fair. Okay, I'll let you guys guess it. But it's basically judging from the skeleton of the model which champion it is.
他这个动作有点插那个毛，然后在那转圈。哦，是棒子吗？
He guessed Ash? Huh, interesting. So you can tell it's got like long hair, like a ponytail or something, right?
好像有点印象，我想想。JDG，想一下。
Oh, Ops. Do you believe BLG get their act together and win because they game 3 losing streak?
我玩英雄吧，有安娜吗？
I think BLG still probably win versus IG. I think IG are probably the worst 3% group team now. Oh, this one should be quite easy. Like, the movements are pretty...
有点没想法，你知道吗？狐狸8分，谁有翅膀？哦，侠吗？有翅膀，侠吗？
One of the bird champions. They have, like, the thing about Rakan and Zyros, because they have really, like, in-depth cloaks and stuff. That's Zoe, you can tell from the flip. Zoe, easy. Thank you so much for the sub, Ops. Yeah, I think BLG will probably win the next series, but I don't know how mental boom they are.
兔子，安妮，狐狸。
It's Zoe.
哦，佐伊吗？佐伊，好像是他的回城动作吧，第二个。
We got a hype train. Very cool. Nice.
啊，对，我知道，这第一个是往下，然后第二个
I should
我
play
感觉
Bundle.
就是他回城的时候，就是在左晃右晃，左晃右晃。
I'm gonna have to change the music off just so we don't get. How is this Aurora? Can you lock in? Yeah, dude, I'm for real right now. I need you to lock in. Oh my god. Yes, I think for the second series today, realistically, I think BLG still come in as favorites. I think that they're just much stronger laners on the whole than top esports. I think that, yeah, and I think that even if, look, Cerbero's not look particularly consistent, but it really depends on how mental boom the team is. Really depends on how mental boom the team is. Which is a really sad thing to say about BLG, because we're expecting that team to be, we were hoping they'd be internationally viable, but perhaps not, perhaps not. So coming into this last one though, a lot of the power picks are gone. Like a lot of the power picks are gone. We're also getting to the point where Perhaps, well, Vampire still has Nautilus, but if he gets Nautilus, then obviously that's a problem for anyone's Legend. But I think one of the problems about later into Fearless is that Vampire starts running out of champions he's actually good at. Now you have no Leona, Alistair, no Rakan, which is one of his more comfortable ones too. We all change the music over again. Ah! Bits! Hey, Time Lord, thanks for the bits, appreciate you. That is a really loud little bling, isn't it? Oh, gosh. Okay, so last draft between these two teams. And it really does come down to early game control of jungle support to me again, really. Vampire's best champion is Nautilus? Yeah, it is. But he needs melee support melee engaged champions, right? So you've already got rid of the Alistair, you've already got rid of the Leona. The Rakan's gone. Thank you, Volcon. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, I've been on a load of podcasts recently, and I've talked about Lost Returns so many times now. Gotta milk him for the algorithm. Victor's huge. Victor's pretty big. I think that Taliyah's up there too, right? Taliyah looks pretty important at this point in the draft.
Nymaera again with just
10 gifts us from Pinterest. You're very kind. Appreciate you an awful lot. Thank you. And into the draft. Into the draft we go. Okay. JDG game 3. Jarvan banned, no surprises there. Victor banned, interestingly, against Honky. Alright, well, good call out there. I think Taliyah looks very good here at this point in the draft. The Aphelios, Yunara is obviously huge. And by the way, anyone's Legend will have that first pick. So, potential Yunara ban here from JDG, I would imagine. I realize it's probably too loud right now. Be gone, advert. You do ban the Yunara. They don't want to give that first pick over. That makes sense. Misfortune's gone. AD carries are going down to like Ezreal, Kai'Sa now at this point. Not even a Corki now. So what else are you afraid of here from anyone's Legend? Xiaoxu Jax might be a thing we see later. If you don't want to first pick the Taliyah, maybe you ban that. Go towards something like the Aurora instead. Aurora's also pretty big now at this point. The Vi, by the way. Junja, a very comfortable player of that. Do you ban Taliyah or Aurora? Or do you just take a trade of them, not thinking either of them are important enough? Something like the Wukong could be worth a ban too. I was a very confident player of that champion. Hey Andrew, I will get hydrated. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. JDG, what's that last ban? Jungle matchup? Rumble. Of course, Rumble left through the entire ban. I just so often banned. It's one of the things which I skips my mind, really. Nico let through. So Nico, also that, I've completely forgot about that too. Nico and Rumble permabans Nico through. Does mean you can go towards something like a Karma or a Nautilus though for Vampire. Hope might look towards Kai'Sa or Ezreal, which are both very powerful there. Gala and Vampire, what do they do about this bot lane now? Nico's a dangerous champion to give over. Look, you're going Nautilus, I think. Question is, do you lock that in now? Or, what do you lock in as the AD carry, of course? Xin Zhao, nice tier list pickup here. Do you lock in Kai'Sa? Possibly getting threatened by something like a Jhin or an Ezreal. We do have champions like Cassante still available too. Lulu, I don't like that at all. It's good with a Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao Lulu is a great combination. I don't think this does fantastic in lane. And I don't think it really helps your laning phase that much. I think Nico's fine with that. Sivir, Kai'Sa. Oh, Sivir, of course, very powerful in this tier list as well now. I think if you take the Sivir, it takes away one of Lulu's best pairings. You could take the Kai'Sa, but then at that point you give the Sivir over and you're not as happy. Sivir's a good lock-in here, I think. You'll lock it on 2 or 3. Ambessa in. Could be to Tarzan, most likely to Flandre based on recent trends. Meaning that Xiaoxu could go towards something like the Cassante, have an even matchup in topside. And I think you lock the Sivir. I think the Sivir is an important lock-in here. I think you trust that Tarzan has enough champions. You can take the Ambassador into the jungle. You still have Wukong. Well, don't have crazy amounts of champions in the jungle in terms of AD skirmishes, but Tarzan's pretty happy with that. Jackson to Ambessa. Not bad, and Xiaoshu's comfortable at that, and he destroyed Flandre in the last game. Hey, I appreciate the follow in the burrow. Second bans now. So you ban away, presumably, the last kind of Lulu comfort champions. You could also, well, both mid laners are still up, so you don't necessarily want to ban mid laners away from yourself. Poppy away, yeah, that's a big one. Presumably Wukong will be the last ban. Poppy, Wukong would be the two biggest jungles left on the table for Tarzan. Ella might go Jinx, but Jinx feels just instant death versus Nico and Bessa. I don't think you can go Jinx very easily. Unironically, might be heading towards a Gala Xayah angle, you know? Even though it loses lane versus the Sivir, I think that the Xayah looks pretty hot here versus Ambessa Nico. If we're falling really far down the tier list. Zeri, another mobile scaling champion that worked well with the Lulu too. And the Wukong, presumably the last ban here from JDG. That'd be the easy one, really. Taking the time, the Cassiopeia. Now that's a little bit different. So that means that the Wukong very easily able to lock in from anyone's legend now. That feels like a mistake from JDG. Hope is on a 14 win streak on Sivir. That is incredibly important to know. And of course, he won a split with JDG 22. Summer playing the Zeri Kai'Sa meta, Zeri Sivir meta rather. Aurora banned away from Honku. So you're looking at an attack speed carry for Gala, kind of has to be. If you pick something too immobile though, doesn't Ambessa Kai'Sa just, Ambessa Nico just completely destroy you? You need something that can self-peel but also have attack speed. Desire might have to be it, actually. I don't like Kai'Sa Lulu. I think, look, Gala's Kai'Sa is very, very good. I just don't like it with the Lulu. I don't like it with the Lulu. You go towards the Galio, you can have the Ambessa Galio into the backline. Shank's a fairly proficient player at this too. Then do you pick a top laner or do you pick a jungler? I think you lock in a jungler. Neferi Galio is a pretty fun combo too, actually. I haven't seen a Neferi in a while. Tarzan was very, very good. We do get it. We get the Neferi. Haven't seen that one in the LPL so far this year. So JDG currently have a 0 engage comp to allow Kai'Sa to get into the backline, unless you have a counter-strike. Now, Honku is very happy to take the Swain hit. The Swain's really good. It's his Galio matchup. He was doing this a lot of last year. Funnily enough, LPL also did this with Rookie, who did it just before Honku brought it out. So LPL was also early on that trend in some places. So you'll see Rookie play later today, actually. The Swain comes through. Now, suddenly you have Swain with Lulu backing up. You need to have some very good Never moves. In terms of the overall draft, I actually think JDG walk away with something weirdly quite powerful here. I didn't expect it from that. The Lulu is not good for Vampire. I like the composition from JDG, but Vampire not being on a melee support could really hurt them. Could really hurt them. JDG will have a lot of people flying into melee range. You know, everyone but Sivir will be standing in melee range, and that means that Jax, Shinzao, Swain all love that. Anyone's legend, if they go into the meat grinder, probably lose this game, folks. They probably lose this game if they go into the meat grinder. I actually think that JDG have walked away with a pretty good draft there, folks. We'll get into game, see how this one plays out. JDG unable to win against the bottom teams, but pretty damn good against the top ones, aren't they? Should have really been a 2-0 with that Baron push from anyone's legend. Falling apart for them. Into game 3 now. Can anyone's legend at least go even with JDG? The team we expected to be on top for the early parts of the year, while other teams ramped up with their new rosters. Anyone's legend still finding some room for improvement. Let's get onto the Rift. Hi, the Gyos. Very interesting draft. You know, Honkyu getting back onto the Swain, which he's had some fairly good success with. It was chunked out a little bit there. Not sure if that was there a ward put down on Raptors. Not sure there was, actually. Tarzan going to start on blue buff. So he's unseen on his jungle path. Now, one of the biggest things about this matchup in particular is that JDG has typically actually been very good at playing through early jungle advantage. They were in the first series. This series, less so. Poke from Nico being really annoying here. You don't want to over-push at the level 1, it's worth noting. And you lose out your chance to rush to level 2. Honky getting 3 free auto attacks onto Shanks. Got to be careful with them as the Galio here. Swain can be really annoying, actually. It's the level 2. We'll look for that never move. We'll hit it here. Easily, actually. Lovely pull through from Shanks. Yeah, so look, the Swain is very good here, folks. It's a very good Swain pick. However, there is a chance that the Ambassador does kind of just dunk you eventually. Shanks trading okay there, but again, the free auto attacks that were given over earlier, the 3 free auto attacks, have led to early HP lead for the Swain. Not unexpected. Not familiar with this mid matchup. Galio tries to survive, basically. It's not a good matchup for the Galio. Galio just wants to, like, survive and then hope that someone becomes more useful with his shield than him. Flandra looking at the level 3, not quite able to get it. Early push in from the Jax. We need to see better laning from Flandra this game. Last game was not good enough. The Rek'Sai was very good, one of his comfort champions now, really. But he has struggled quite a lot in laning phase, just in general, really. It's one of the big worries for anyone's Legend. Anyone's Legend as a roster, let's highlight our big moments for them. They're a team which stayed together from 2025. They were, across the average of the year, the best LPL team of the year. They were better than top Esports and BLG across the average. Not necessarily winning as hard in, you know, winter where they lost finals. Summer, of course, they didn't make finals as well. Oh no, yeah, there was top Esports that made this one. I was just checking my maths and my history. And we thought, okay, as the top team which kept their roster together, they should be the best team of the early part of the year. That hasn't been the case. It's definitely not been clear. You know, their synergy, some of their read on the meta hasn't looked great. Ginger, ooh, we're going to find Tarzan. He pops that W early, actually, to get the extra damage coming through. Misses the double Q, though, which means he loses some of the healing. Ginger could look for the knock-up, chooses not to. Tarzan, if he'd hit that second Q, I think we'd be winning that play. Doesn't get the top scuttle because of this. Honky teleported in. No Vision of Empire landing there. We'll be 1-for-1 on scuttles. Galio is more tanky, does more damage than Swain. That is absolutely capped. Nah, Swain does ridiculous amounts of damage, man. Oh, God. That is spoken like someone who's not been stood in a Swain ultimate and a meat grinder. If you're against melees, but both these champions are actually very good in melee. It's just that Swain is way better at playing around. If Flandra hits the level 5 a little early, you see that Xiaoshu trading very well there. Xiaoshu, a very experienced Jax player. Flandra will recall, teleport back in. Cult hit picked up from Xiaoshu. Got a cheater recall. Didn't have to get himself the teleport back to lane. That's important. Xiaoshu with that free recall. Very happy with that. Teleport back up. What's the first item from Flandra? Double longswords is what they are. So technically is 1 reset to 1 reset. Xiaoshu got the earlier one for the cult. And in the bot lane, Hope's got himself a cull as well. Hope, a very experienced Sivir player. One of the better players here in the LPL. Doesn't land that knockup. W afterwards. Honky doing fine in this early lane, but not getting crazy amounts of value. Sometimes we have seen Honky look for the early solo kills there, actually. It is possible. Top lane. Again, we're worried a little bit about Flandra, but he's ended up keeping up okay here for now. Hasn't lost that first plate. But if it does continue going this way, Xiaoshu will be starting to get those for free. Ginger does have the flash. They don't spot him right now coming around the corner. Vampire does get that polymorph. Where's the knockup? Doesn't land it. Good route back. Good tower shots onto Ginger too. And Ginger not quite able to get what he wanted. Flash and a heal for a flash. Not the best eventuality there for JDG, actually. Especially with Lulu's flash being very valuable at keeping them alive. Tarzan walking up topside now. Level 6, though, from the Jax. I don't think they can kill him through that. Recall. Xiaoshu knew he was there. Happy to keep in lane. JDG really want to get ahead early again. They've done well at their early leads. They might be our best early game team in the entirety of the LPL. However, Anyone's Legend, on the whole, much better in jungle support. And if they do get to those team fights, typically a lot better team fighting team. Not always true. Typically, our best LPL team fighting team, I think, actually, especially with BLG, struggling on that front. Shank's doing actually a lot better in this laning phase than I thought he would do. Typically, the Galio's down a lot of CS against Swain. Dragon potentially started fighting over bot Scuttle Crab. Shanks, Never Move does hit onto the Galio. W for that taunt after. That Honky's pretty happy here. Tarzan, my dude, that's not looking fantastic. Perhaps that W. Junja doesn't want to go forwards for the knock-up, though. Scuttle Crab was earned by Junja. Quite tense there, though, for a second. Anyone's Legend, they love scrapping around that. Don't always win it, but they love scrapping around it. That was an evil time. Don't want to walk across that Vision of Empire either. Honky, good damage. Conqueror fully stacked up. Ow. Yeah. Those, Death's Hand. That Q, especially with the Conqueror fully stacked up, goes really hard. By the way, there's a lot of questions about whether you should go towards Ghost Ghost Conqueror or Phase Rush and not, basically. Phase Rush and Teleport. Basically, Swain needs some ability to stick to targets. You need a Rylai's if you don't go for either 100%. Well, to be honest, you need the Rylai's anyway. Kaisa Lulu, yeah, that was a strange bot lane. I'm not going to lie. Kaisa Lulu was not that synergistic. There were some points it was played before, but back when Lulu was just much more powerful in general, really. I'm surprised people keep taking teleport so much in both solo lanes. We saw some experiments with Ignite. Ghost in mid lane's been particularly popular. Junja hit. Flandra just dashed forward. He might die here. Junja not able to get that W on target, though. Flashes the wall. Summoner down. That could be a problem, actually. I actually think he could be in trouble here. See, Flandra has the ult. There's no flash on him. There's no flash. Maybe Jax can turn it around. Should Tarzan want to go in? Yes. Yes, he does. Good W across both of them. Tarzan, good damage there. The bleed on that Q. But he's not going to die. Flash ult down from Junja. Shanks. He's thinking about roaming his way up as well. In fact, he might still do. We shall see. Grub started. Dragon wasn't taken earlier on. It was a tight contest around the Scuttle Crab. No one wants to start it, though. Neferi Q damage. Yeah, especially with Conqueror stacked up, it goes really hard. Flandra, my dude. Not sure about that. Xiaoshu doesn't have ult. He's going to throw up himself the emote. Xiaoshu might look for a kill onto... Xiaoshu might look for that. Flashes away. Not bad. Q lands. Goes to that counter strike. Does he have a leap strike away? He doesn't have a ward. Tarzan could flash maybe for an E. I think Tarzan can live here. Remember that you can reset the aggro pretty effectively. Flash in for the Q. Where's the second one? Misses it. Takes a second flash. First blood to Anyone's Legend. Overstay from Xiaoshu in the top side. Mid lane though. Honky gets an extended push in here. Honky teleports away from top lane actually. Sorry, Shanks teleports away from top lane. Suppose he didn't think he could freely recall. Oh, hang on. Kyle looking for the root. They gets it. Cleanse comes through. That's a problem. Can they get themselves the extra damage they need afterwards? Gala does have ultimate. Will have that extra shield if he needs to. Loses both summoners for an overstay in bot lane. JDG, that's not what you want to see. All three grubs to Anyone's Legend. Dragon to JDG. But the side lanes, the top lane and bot lane for the early game, not doing fantastically here for JDG, giving up a death and summoners. Vision of Empire stopped a recall there. It's one of the annoying things about the Swain. And use that semi-global of the Vision Empire. You know, there was a point, actually, where Swain would max W first, particularly on Swain support as well. It's really annoying for that kind of semi-global, crazy high base damage pressure. Hey, Time Warp, good to see. Sad for Flandra that he didn't get any kill participation in that early kill, but the wave state has been very, very good for him here. Even in gold towards that Jax. Xiaoshu, again, a very confident player of the Jax, but hard to play things out when you've got that many people in your lane. Jax now down a fair amount of CS here. Not crazy amount, though, for the lane matchup. Expect the Swain to be much further ahead than this, actually. So JDG, one of their biggest pressure points has been their laning. That's not working out for them here. One of the other things that's worked well against Anyone's Legend is controlling jungle support. It's not really worked out here either, actually. JDG look a lot less precise in this series than they did in the first one. Perhaps that preparation advantage helping them out a lot more in that last series, whereas Anyone's Legend feels like they've had more breathing room for this game. If you look through it the first time which they faced off, let's actually go back to that. Faced off back in week 1. Clean feed. A bit of a hissy fit. Probably hop forward again now. Where both of those teams had played. I think Anyone's Legend played 3 series in 4 days, the same as JDG played 2 series back to back, but much harder to prep for that. Whereas you look at this series today, you know, Anyone's Legend haven't played for a couple of days. They've had more prep time. Vampire, he's taking a lot of damage. Owie. Potential of a roam down here. Tarzan doesn't have flash, but it's really hard to engage onto a Neferi when you've got the W, and also just JDG don't have much engage on the whole. Let's be careful here. Shanks might go for a taunt. Doesn't have flash. If he gets caught in the meat grind, it could be an issue. That's not bad damage from Junja. Reminder, he doesn't have the flash for the next second or two, and that ult feels a bit cheap from Junja. Honky might look for the never move. We'll get it onto Tarzan. Chooses not to use the W there. Smites it away. Of course, the more of those skill shots hit, the more splinters or whatever they're called, shards for Swain he gets. Eclipse shield in for Flandra now, which means the Ambessa has a much better time of lane. Does Ambessa outscale Jax? You talking about 1v1 or anything else? Why is Shanks going tank? Because he can't survive as an AP Galio. He can't one-shot the Swain as an AP Galio, and you die immediately if you go into the play. This is going to be a meat grinder team fight. He should still go for a Zhonya's later. If he goes for Zhonya's, I think it's fine either way. The lane matchup is really hard as AP Galio into Swain, so you never have enough damage to really threaten him. You need enough tank to survive through to a second cooldown. Plus, you have everyone else on your team is damaging. You know, you basically have 0 tank on your team if you don't go for damage, which is a problem. One of the things which is going to be quite difficult for JDG as well is just general ward clearing and ward placement, because the Lulu can't really walk up into a team against, you know, a Galio Ambassa. You know, if you're ever caught out of position and you're close to Fog of War, you die. This is one of the problems that we've seen from Vampire as a player, but in a in this draft as well. It can be a difficult thing. Can one-shot Swain easily? Yep. In this game with a Lulu behind it, do you think that's true? Do you think that's true with the Lulu behind it? Because I don't think that's the same case. That's okay. There's a lot of things which change the game of League of Legends. There's a lot of extra things you have to take into account. Lulu makes it hard to one-shot anyone, though, to be honest. I mean, Lulu's got good synergies here. Like, on paper, this draft isn't bad from JDG. And then you've got Gala on Kai'Sa. And well, okay, it's half good, you know? The Kai'Sa doesn't feel great, but then it's Gala Kai'Sa, which makes it a lot better, right? Honky, not going to hit that never move there. First Dragon Ball's taken by JDG. We highlighted that earlier. Physical boots from Honky, interestingly. Doesn't care about the Galio damage, and why would you, right? Most of the team is physical damage, and the Galio's not going for high damage, as noted before. Ninja fighting over the jungle, the Phaelite driver, rather, with Tarzan Kyle. Good damage on Tarzan, hitting 2 or 3 Ws in a row. Game is slow again. Typically, Group Ascend games have been faster, more decisive. Not hit. Oh, maybe catching up Gala on the recall. He's not looking. He's not looking. Has to blow himself that flash again. Low HP. Junja might run at them. I don't think it's good. You can't fight this though, really, can you? Not with potential Galio flying in. Gala, my dude, blowing summoners so easily this game. That's a problem. You need them to fight. It's not an easy Kai'Sa game. Trying to stop the recall there again is Shanks. Does so, actually. That's a not bad fight onto Hope. Where is the ult from the Galio? There it is. Dragon goes down, and this is the problem going in for that. Now, ult flash and the ult from Vampire down as well. Good damage onto Junja, but tell you what, it's not bad turnaround onto Tarzan. Gala does have his ultimate if he wants to fly in. Is there any plasma down there? No. Honky coming down, can't finish anything off. I thought that was going to go a lot worse for JDG. Anyone's Legend Got a little bit blitzed on the return around there. Shin's out. Nasty damage. Gallia now going into bot side. Hey, Clan, good to see you. Clean feed. Struggling a little bit there. What I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to maybe... No, okay. That fits fine for now. Tell you what, the Huya app has been a lot better than the Huya website, which helps a little bit there. Honku out of mana, so he can't really fight with that. He's gone for that Rylai's first. Good job. Rylai's makes this champion just obnoxious. We haven't seen our first Swain ult of the game, actually. Actually, folks, I'm just going to quickly reset this speed very quickly, just because it should stop it from speeding up randomly. Go. Jank's pushing in towards that bot lane. Honky really needs a reset. Has that teleport. Hope has just been farming up a storm as well. Both these AD carries very happily just scaling up into items. Gala has that cull finish. Can't remember. I think Hope also had one. He's also cashed that in. Ooh, spell shield used by Hope. Junja walking forwards. Maybe that'll change things. Remember, he has no flash. Great damage onto Kael, though. He won't be able to engage on the other side. The Sivir ult used to disengage. I think JDG have the winning position now, and Bessa trying to hop over Xiaoshu and does manage it. Tarzan out the other side. Kael is damaged very heavily by Junja. Junja, with the Lulu behind them, has been working some wonders. Wonders? Top laner. I think that's going to be Herald over to JDG. Junja on the Shin's out. Doing quite a good job, actually, at chunking people out in the front line, using his ult quite liberally. Uses the spell shield onto the root, not the Vision of Empire. Well played from Hope there. Takes a bit of damage, but understands where the real threat is. This Herald, I don't think will full one-shot, but it'll get close. Looking for that next Never move, I suppose. Oh, it does. Okay, straight down there with a Crystallize. Okay. First turret destroyed in mid lane. Gallia takes the second one in bot lane, so extra gold over towards JDG. Also, they get the better strategic tower. Nico might be the loudest champion in this game. Ah, you haven't heard Korean Lysandra for a while, that's why. Oh, Korean Lysandra. What a champion. What a voice acting performance. Flandra doesn't have his ult, does have flash, and just coming up here. Flash in, W not landing. Flandra down the summoner. That's it. Hope almost at that Infinity Edge second item. That'll change things. Shanks picking up the wave clear DT in this top side. You know, great thing about Gallia is that you can just wave clip forever. Most of the time, anyway. If the wave is pushing into you, Gallia's actually okay. The problem is when Gallia gets zoned out of farm. That's when he can't do much. The slight gold lead for anyone's legend. One dragon apiece. Grubs to the side of anyone's legend. I'm getting quite worried for anyone's legend, though. I don't think these skirmishes are going the way that they would have liked them to. I think the Xin Zhao has been harder for them to deal with the Lulu behind them. And while the engage from JDG is actually quite difficult to land, it does feel as though when the fight starts, especially when anyone's legends jump into them, they've been doing good damage. Clean feed again, struggling a little bit here. Vampire trying to de-ward the place. Good vision in topside jungle. Less so in bot side where they have less presence right now. Neferi down there helping them. Jinzao around the corner. Ninja. Ooh, good W block for the clone there. Again, Clean feed just struggling a little bit here. What I'm going to do, folks, I'm going to try something a little bit different here. Have a look-see. Hopefully this doesn't break anything. Might do for just 1 second. We'll see. Oh my gosh, Clean feed. Will you please? Oh my god. Come on. You can do it. I believe in you. We've actually been working pretty well with it recently. Jax in the bot lane and extended lane. Game's been slow as heck though, hasn't it? Swain is so useless. Swain is very good in melee games. Very, very good in melee games, really. Xiaoshu jumping up bot side. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. You cannot afford to go down there. Gets ulted. Xiaoshu, big mistake. You are overextended. This is not the place you need to be. He flashes forward, though, and he gets one back. Saving what should have been an overextended play. Makes it into a 1-for-1. Kill goes to Tarzan, though. That is a worry. This Neferi could be a problem. Now, Shank's going on to Honku. Once again, doesn't have that much mana. Shank's doing quite well in this 1v1, I tell you. Xiaoshu uses that flash. It does get that kill. Dragon is available now. Teleport available to Flandre, not to Xiaoshu. Junja looking for the knockup. Can they get the Kai'Sa into the play? Oh, Junja, you might have gone too far there now. Damage, though, from Gala, the Lulu helping. Junja uses the last of his ult to do some quite good tanking there. Teleport back in. This time from the Galio, actually. I think this will be Dragon over to Anyone's Legend on the Chemtech Rift. Hello, what Chemtech would be kind of insane for the Lulu for that heal and shield power. Nasty good for both teams, really. Off the lag, it's because there is no official broadcast anymore, and it means that it's quite hard to get a good clean feed. If you want there to be no lag, you've got to make a noise about the LPL, really. Junja, once again, trying to throw his weight around, trying to flash forward, catch out the jungler. But you can see how hard it is for them to land the engage. Anyone's Legend, as long as they have superior positioning, I don't think JDG can unroot them from an area. I just don't think they have the... I don't think they have the engage for it. But this is the 1v1 in bot side, where Xiaoshu goes into Flandre. He's very overextended. Yes, the team's coming down the river. You don't have an earlier turret to go towards. Flashes to confirm the stun. Tarzan missing a Q in that play there too may have changed the outcome of that play. No flash for Flandre. Galio's not on the same side of the map. No teleport either to ult in. But Ambessa does have enough items now to be fairly self-sufficient. Unless it's Jax on top, he is quite hard to really deal with that champion. Oh, the last time you saw Lissandra? No, we saw Carrier play at support earlier this split, actually. It was one of Mickey X's Rakan counters. Slow game. Tarzan the only one with a real lead. And his Neferi is really good. He is a very good Neferi player. Level 13, so about half a level over Junja, actually. Been farming well. Tends to be a bit of a better farming jungler than the Jin Zhao. 2 items hit by both AD carries. Kraken Rage Blade for Gala. The Infinity Edge Essence Reaver for Hope. So that incredible Sheen crit being one-shotting someone. Almost up to what we assume to be the Flicker Blades for Hope as well. My low volume might be the way that I'm speaking into the mic. Hopefully it's still fine. Okay. Probably just me then. I think the entire stream is quite low volume just because I haven't been able to pump the volume as much as I'd like, so we lose audio quality that way. Tarzan on Neferi last year was super fun to watch. He was one of the best Neferis in the world. Even post-nerf, he kept playing it. No worries. Robin Van Persie deaf? Well, who needs to hear the beautiful game when you can play it? Hey, all good then. All good. Open audio is fine. Anyone's Legend. Getting better vision control across the rift. Getting the Scuffle Crabs down tends to help a fair amount too to clear out some vision. Both Qs missing from Tarzan, not that it matters that much. Dragon up in 2 minutes. No one's on soul point yet. JDG, it felt like when they got ahead of Anyone's Legend, they were able to really pin down Tarzan and Kyle and stop them from impacting the game. However, the problem is here is it does feel as though Tarzan and Kyle do have a great amount of agency. We haven't really seen the Kyle engage combo land just yet. In this game, quite hard for the Nico to get huge value because you tend to, you know, go into a Shinzo ult, a Swain ult, Counter-Strike. Let's get a bit blasted. However, if you do catch the Kai'Sa Lulu, that's where the big money comes in, really. Big stuff comes in. Pushing out mid lane now is Gala and Vampire. Them taking that mid lane turret earlier really, really helps them. No surprise it helps them. It's a really important tower to take. Tarzan jumping towards Junja. No Qs landing there. No skill shot hitting at all, actually. Okay. Yep, it's a thing. Gala does have that Lulu to help him out. Minutesville Dragon now. And again, you can just see how neither team wants to pull the trigger. The response from both sides is really harsh. Oh, come on. Come on, clean feed. You can do it. You can do it. We believe in you. Okay, what I'm going to do... Oh, hang on. Oh, come on. We've got a fight coming in now. The Ambassador ult missing. Clean feed. Oh, Flandre getting jumped back onto by Junja. No fight really coming about it. I'm going to go try and reset the stream one more time, folks. Hang on. Honky, good damage onto him. Good damage on that Rift Maker. Xiaoshu taking that bot side turret. Any more fights coming after this point? Not sure, actually. He might be out of fight range now. Ginger going forwards, though. Good amount of HP onto Tarzan helps him a little bit with that. Okay, I'm going to go try one more thing, folks. It's going to be one more thing. We shall see. Quickly refresh the stream. Hopefully this is fine. Again, big apologies for this. This is the problem with us not having an official broadcast anymore. Sometimes the clean feed just has issues. Sometimes it does. This is a bootleg broadcast. We do the best we can for you, and we still hope you enjoy the experience. 10 seconds till Dragon. JDG doing pretty good at pressuring out that bot lane turret. Xiaoshu is a threat. He has 2 items. He has that Seekers. This Jax could win the next fight for them. Could do. Clean feed just pausing again. I think it wasn't PC freeze at that point. Dodging away from that never move. Dragon started up. Anyone's Legend looking to do their favorite thing, which is retake the pit. Oh, flashing in. Where is Kyle? Gets himself an ult onto the front line. There's the Galio coming in as well. We're well and truly into the meat grinder now. Honku pulling out the ultimate. So is Shanks putting in that big taunt as well. Dragon is still not dead. Flandra's out of the fight. I think JDG, with that Swain going forwards, might find themselves the winning angle. The clean feed is dying again, but are the champions as well. Things slow down, and we're watching a PowerPoint. Honku goes low, but it's going to be a dead character on the other side. The Civ is down, and with the AD carry gone, I think Anyone's Legend have lost themselves the DPS. I think they have. That Swain buying so much space. Flandra going in too disconnected onto the backline. The PowerPoint comes out as a 1 for 2 in favor of JDG, and they get the Dragon. Honku Swain buying so much space in the front line. And Anyone's Legend, despite what we felt were winning the pressure battle, doesn't really lead to that much. Does Anyone's Legend not have Grievous wins? I think they do on Galio. I think it has an Oblivion Orb. They cash out Gala here, but just Sivir not quite able to get the DPS down. Flandra goes in onto one target onto the backline, gets disengaged. Probably flashes out a bit late too. Flandra takes too much damage to keep fighting. But Honku gets to keep rolling forwards. Flashes forward to keep the fight going. What happens here? Oh, it's the ricochets. Oh, the ricochets go wild. That's why they have to back off. Then what happens here? Xiaoshu jumps in onto Hope. So Hope dies there. Hope on an incredible win streak on the Sivir. It's a very successful champion for him. Winning one which he won 22 Summer LPL with. Anyone's Legend do still have the gold advantage. However, you look at that last fight, it does get a little bit scary, particularly with Xiaoshu getting a lot of work done. You see here again that the Nico is really struggling to get value. They need to look for picks, I think, actually, with the Neferi, with the Galio, the Ambassa. I think the big 5v5s are quite hard to make work from Anyone's Legend, you know. If you can get onto, you know, a flashless Gala now, maybe that's the play. I suppose there's no stasis for Xiaoshu either now at this point. Baron available. Next big fight, you assume, gives the Baron over. We were saying, hey, Anyone's Legend, perhaps our best team fighting team in the LPL. Mid lane turret finally goes down in favor of Anyone's Legend. They've been searching for that for a long time. JDG took the other one, took the enemy mid lane turret about 10 minutes ago at this point. Finding picks will be hard versus Swain, Jax, Jhin. Yeah, no, I understand, but the bot lane is where you need to aim at it then, right? Even then, we've seen Jax overextend on the side lane. Doesn't have a full Zhonya's for now. I think you can maybe go onto him. You're surprised that Gala isn't playing Dusk and Dawn into Zhonya's? Gala has always loved the AD variant of Kai'Sa. He always has them. He loved playing the Terminus versions. He's always loved this kind of build. Tarzan, 3 items now. Has himself a Serpent's Fang to cut down on the Lulu shields. Black Cleaver, of course, helping a lot too. Shanks has the full Morellonomicon for the anti-heal item built up. Actually not sure on the efficiency of building full Morello compared to the Oblivion Orb now. If you just need the anti-heal, typically been one that you skip the full completion of. Level 18 Xiaoshu. Flandra's not crazy far behind him on that front, actually. In terms of gold, hang on. Junja's going in. He might have gone a little too far. Still has his ult to pull out, but he's half HP already. Shanks, he doesn't have flash, but he has himself a lot of move speed from the Sivir. Not sure JDG want this fight now. That's great damage onto Honku, who's been soloed out on the side. But now Tarzan might have gone too far. Has the anti-heal put down onto him. Tarzan, can he get out of the play? I suppose he can. Kyle! Into the middle of everyone! That's the Galliwar to keep them safe. Kyle and Shanks solve the team fight. Xiaoshu is alive in the backline. Does go golden. Vampire kills Kyle. Can Xiaoshu do enough? No. No, he can't. The AoE circles of doom carry anyone's legend to victory. They win the fight 3-for-2. Both junglers down. I think they can just go straight to the Baron. I don't think there's anyone that can stop them from doing it. Kyle with the monster team fight. That'll be the Baron. Be on to 3 members across the team. And oh my word, JDG, they try and fling themselves in with the Mega Cone. This is the problem with having lack of engage, but it feels like they've lost their patience here. I don't think they had to fight right here and now. Trying to go forwards with the Xin Zhao Lulu. Junja feeling very pressured. Jump onto Honku, who's separated from the team. Try and buy the Swain ult for free if possible. Get the anti-healing down from the Galio. And they just watch Kyle and then Shanks just go absolutely monstered into them. Taunt into big ult from the Ambassador. Gala is down. AD carry pops. In Xiaoshu tries his best. He kills off Tarzan. Vampire ends up going around the back of the fight to kill Kyle too. They try their best to clean it up. But really, Kyle and Shanks, Flandra in there too, comboing onto it, save the team fight.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Another tower kill, top lane outer. Traded, disposed for the dragon on the other side of the map. Anyone's legend will get themselves their third. That's more tenacity, more heal and shield power. That will be fairly important. It will apply to things like Tarzan's heal. It will apply to Flandra's Eclipse and his Repudiate shield too. So they've got an extra 12% right now. Hey, Omar, good to see you. Gonna bang it first. Guys, this is only Series 1. This is Series 1 of the day. We've got another one after this. BLG IG, so stick around for that one too, of course. Got peak Ascend gameplay here today. Of course, IG, one of our most inconsistent teams, but they are very entertaining. Kyle up to his 2 items. Vampire has the Shurelias and the Redemption as well. JDG, I do wonder whether they just lack that engage option to make a difference. Honku does have himself a Seeker. He's quite hard to kill, actually. That's going to be the Crystallize used. Ginger does have the knockup prime from the Q. Can't do much with it. Baron buff will lead to the death of that tower. Double cannons chipping away at it. Do they push another lane? Yes, they are. Honku pushing it. Sorry, Shanks pushing in mid lane. Can't really do that much with it. Xiaoshu happily standing up. Missed ult from Flandra. Missed ult from him. No Ambassador ult now, trying to get that play. I'm not sure that would have been great, though, you know. He does have a Seekers. Not sure that guy is your target. It's a Seekers and is on his double stasis. Trying to play again the meat grinder. Get into melee range, throw your stuff down, go golden, throw your stuff down again. Xiaoshu. Oh dear, Counter-Strike down. Does have the Zhonya's. Kyle knocked up by Junja, but he might have gone too deep in return. Vampire getting ricocheted. The Galliwar gives them all the heroes welcome. Junja goes down, and I don't think JDG have the damage. Gala flying into the backline, trying to make a miracle. He's doing a lot of damage, but Tarzan's on his case. Maybe Honku can clear it up at the end, but I just don't think they have the damage. Anyone's legend. I think the Pandas have come back for revenge. Honku flashing forwards, but he can't quite do it until Tarzan sticks around and eats another Q. Tarzan dies for free. Suddenly, it's a 3-kill fight on either side. Anyone's legend should have been able to get away with an extra free one. Flandra does have the death stance. Has a bit of lifesteal as well. That should have been a cleaner fight. Tarzan not respecting the damage from that last death's hand. Back out onto the map. That could have been a game-ending play. It was close to it. Gala picking up 1 kill on the backline. Xiaoshu not able to land the engage. Suddenly the Jax is half HP. Shunja's gone in alone. It's a disjointed engage. Very disjointed engage. Then they go into the meat grinder. All of the circles come down. The Galliwar is incredibly powerful. Flash away from Vampire as Wanda very nearly kills him on the back end. Then watch this at the back end. Gala very nearly saving the game. Auto attack reset with his ults. Oh, he autos a cannon. No! Gala auto-attacks the minion. Does it change anything? I'm not sure he kills Hope with that auto. Just means he loses the flash. Tell you what, Gala's Kai'Sa, legendary though it may be, has not had the best time of things in this game. Tarzan flashed on the spot there, and then dies after. That is not a good look from Tarzan either. A bit of a comedy of errors from both Tarzan and Gala, actually. If they didn't pick Swain, they would have gotten so blown out this game. Honku is really trying his best. This Swain has been very powerful. 1k up, the bloodletters. It's just about the meat grinder. All about the meat grinder. Now, I will say, I think the Galliol is largely outvaluing Swain. I think that the problem is JDG don't have engage. They don't have engage to pin anyone into the meat grinder. Honku has been, you know, freely ulting and trying to get as much value down as possible. This is not an easy way for Gala to get into backlines. Built up the Lord Dominates Regards now, trying to get some extra damage against those higher HP targets. But Hope is almost at full build himself. 1.7k up, has a Bloodthirster. Much harder to kill now. Maybe this game comes down to, can you get a freak pick onto Hope and just hope that the DPS check works in your favor. Maybe it comes down to that. Really hard to do that, though, through, you know, the peel of the Nico ult, the Galio. It's coming down to a dragon now. Minute till it spawns. I mean, this is still a winnable game for JDG. They just need to somehow get a pick onto Hope. He doesn't have a GA. Problem is, you do have GAs on top jungle. Gala is still damaging enough. Oh, hang on, the jump onto Hope. They're trying to jump onto him, but the engage just isn't there. What do? You just don't have the go buttons. Ult flash down for Junja. They get the ult out of Sivir, but that's it. Has a Bloodthirster as well. Will heal up any damage done. There you go, full HP, overshield again. Junja has been left on engage duty alone. Gala jumping onto Flandre. Death Stance helping keep him alive. Xiaoshu has the counter-strike, but that's gone now too. Here comes the peel. The redemption's not bad. And Junja jumps in again. Where's the Galio ultimate? Where's the Ambessa flying into the backline? Gala trying to get the damage, but he just doesn't have the weight behind the punch. Ambessa might go down in the backline, but still has a GA. The reset from the Tarzan. The Fury comes through. And JDG just don't have the team fighting chops this game. Honku tries his best, but he is one bird against the world. And he'll be the last to fall. Anyone's Legend will seal a revenge series versus JDG. 2-1. JDG will move to 4-4 in series. Who we thought were our best team in the league. Fall twice to Weibo, once to Invictus Gaming, and now against Anyone's Legend. To see themselves brought back down to earth. Anyone's Legend will put themselves in sole possession of first place for now. They'll take the Nexus, and Anyone's Legend will fight their way through to victory. Honku tried his best. Honku with that Swain was pretty much the only thing holding him in those team fights, it felt. But the lack of engage elsewhere was a problem. The Lulu Kai'Sa, it just didn't scream value, did it? It didn't scream value. I think today, largely, I think jungle support won out for Anyone's Legend. I think that Tarzan had an excellent series. I think Kyle, less good in the game 3. Really wasn't as much about him in that last game. Felt actually more about Hope being able to DPS in the backline. Tarzan on the Neferi keeping things in the game for a long time. You need a melee support with Swain? Well, you need something to pin people into the play, and they just didn't. An engaged jungler might have worked. Even then, not so certain about that. I think you needed a melee support. I really didn't like that Lulu. It made that draft so hard to play. So hard to play. I mean, it's not a good lane with the Kai'Sa, really. It just didn't help them. I mean, I know that Xin Zhao Lulu is a good duo. Technically, it is. But you could just see how hard it was to make the play stick. It was so hard to make it stick. Anyway, folks, my name's Nymaera. If you've been enjoying what you've been watching today, please think about dropping a like, a comment, subscribe, things like that. It helps keep me doing what I'm doing, because there is no official LPL broadcast. And yeah, I'm sorry, sometimes the production value can sometimes fall off a little bit. Again, we have these issues with the clean feed as it starts to starts to get a little bit jittery. Sadly, that's nothing I can do on my end myself, but I hope you're still enjoying yourselves anyway. This was Series 1 of 2 today. We still have BLG versus IG later today, which particularly with all of this drama around Bin and BLG being on a bit of a spiral should still be a very, very entertaining series later on. Anyone's Legend get their revenge series versus JDG. I'm sure there'll be a lot of comments about the drafts. I think there'll be a lot of comments about Junger in that last game. Junger's engages didn't really work out the way he wanted to, but you could see how he felt forced into them. I think maybe he should have just been more passive. It feels a bit shit, but I think maybe you just have to try and wait for them to engage into you. It sucks. It sucks. Oh, gosh. Game was saved by Shanks. Shanks on the Galio was insanely valuable. You know, that's a very good call-out. You know what? That's actually a very good call-out. I think that Shanks' Galio was very, very good. I think that it survived the lane a lot better than I expected into the Swain, especially with how Honkyu's dealt with previous Swain into Galio matchups as well. No, I completely agree. I think Shanks had a very good game there. I don't think you take Lulu on 2 ever. Yes, I agree that too, Sarah. I agree that too. Okay, that's the first series of the game done, of the day done. And Anyone's Legends walk away victorious. I'm going to put on a quick ad break. I'm going to leave you with that very quickly. And we're going to get ourselves presumably some post-game stats at some point. A lot of the Lulu pairings were banned round 1. Yeah, a lot of them were gone. You didn't have Yunara, didn't have Aphelios. I felt like Xayah was the better pick there. If you have Xayah, I think, yeah. So JDG are now even in series wins. That is so wild. That's so wild. JDG need to get a new jungler. I don't agree with that. I actually think Junger's been the reason why they beat Anyone's Legend the first time, right? His early plays have been kind of his early pathing has been kind of insane. I need to do an Uma run in the background too at some point. So surely BLG don't lose against IG. We'll see how bad the spiral gets. We'll see how bad it gets. Because it ain't looking great, folks. Not going to lie. Yeah, that was a really good Galio game. Bin will be playing. Yeah, Bin will be playing. Don't worry. Okay, I am actually gonna take a. No, I want to wait until the interview's on so I can at least put the audio over. Oh, we're getting interviews. We'll talk. I'll list that.
采访，我是主持人熙然。恭喜 AL 拿下了本场 BO3 的胜利。我们请到的是打野选手他赞来到赛后采访席，欢迎他赞跟大家打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是 A 打野他赞。
欢迎他赞，也谢谢各位现场的召唤师们来到我们的联盟竞技场观看线下的比赛。今天这波赢了之后是拿到了一个4连胜了，而且尤其是进入到第2轮之后，小分争夺非常激烈，但是以2比1拿下这场胜利之后，现在依然是稳居榜首。好像大家都在说，最近不光是你们队伍，整个 LPL 的翻盘局相当的多，你有这样觉得吗？
就现在感觉这个版本就是很容易翻盘吧，然后也很不小心的会被翻盘吧，也所以不能满足吧，就打游戏的时候。
那我也很想知道，作为选手来讲，这个翻盘成功和被翻盘，心情的差异会有多大呢？
其实心态上可能会有变化吧，就是优势被翻盘可能会不开心，然后心态可能会不稳住吧，但是然后也如果翻盘到对面的话，应该挺爽的吧，但是都是小事吧，就是心态还是打得怎么样都要稳住吧。
很重要这一个点。那我们来聊一下今天这个 BO3，因为很少能够看到你们在野辅联动这么好的情况下，前期不太会有节奏的情况，但是今天第1局好像就有出现，尤其是人头比来到0-6的时候，大家说，AL 这边要该怎么去找到机会时，你们就抓到了对面发条中路没闪的那一波机会，当时怎么去布置的呢？
就是他们发条没闪，然后他们是想打小龙，然后我们8的跟潘森大招比较能好配合吧，然后他也跟我一起看画面，然后就开到了吧。
而且感觉这一把的止损 AL 可以说是一个教科书这样的一个存在。那来到第2局，打野的单位常客一边都是开了，然后一人拿一个嘛，石头人和杰斯。其实说实话，这把石头人打的还是挺不错的，但是为什么你们拿完大龙之后下路外塔非要越那一波呢？
只能说有点满足了吧，就我们5个人都不小心，他们会跟我们打，所以我们真不小心被翻盘了吧，所以很伤吧。本来是应该很优势的局吧。
可能当时也没有想到老牛会埋伏在那么后面的位置，是不是？
是的，有点没想到吧。
稍微有点飘了，那个时候觉得应该胜券在握了，可能后面还是要注意一下下。那我们来到决胜局，最后的一选其实是给到你的位置打野位，锁下了奈亚菲利。能看到最近你在 rank 里面是玩得非常好的，也拿到了 MVP 级的表现，所以你能跟我们讲一下目前这个英雄的赛场强度如何，包括说今天拿出来的考虑是怎样的吗？
赛场强度的话，拿菲利的话就一般般吧，因为我听说下个版本可能会加强，所以期待下个版本加强的够吧。
先拿来试试是吧？
对。
那你觉得他就是在现在来讲的话，可能并不算那么的强。那你今天拿出来考虑是怎样的呢？
就感觉配加6的感觉有一个很好的选择，因为胡子，然后很多打野的选择其实也就那样吧，所以然后很多比赛也没上场嘛，拉菲利，所以感觉他们也不一定好好处理。
而且虽然好像最后一把前面没有太多的水花哦，但是在中后期的时候，尤其到了中期，对面逐渐成长起来的贾克斯很可能会成为 AL 越来越没办法处理的一个点。那你们是怎么去找到这个突破口的呢？
就小心不被武器捞后，感觉我们安倍赛发育的其实挺不错的，所以他们也其实打的时候应该挺大的压力吧。
而且你们中路其实对方想要去逼你们团的那一波，虽然在观众视角来看，可能稍微有一些的不是那么的合情理，但是你们的 combo 衔接非常非常好，那波的打团思路是怎样的呢？
就是尼库跟安倍赛就英雄配合感觉很好吧，然后我去前面撞一下，然后他们会上头，就我们感觉更好有机会吧。
就来到了打团的阶段，好像 AL 还是比较顺手的，是吗？前段时间大家可能粉丝们很多人都在关心嘛，说他的一个身体状态，看到你感冒了，那最近好一些了吗？就给粉丝们说说个近况吧。
哦，现在肯定好很多了，现在就是消咳嗽吧，然后粉丝们也小心身体吧。
还是要注意身体，大家都要身体健康，好不好？再次感谢他再来到我们的赛后采访的环节，谢谢你，再次恭喜你们拿到了比赛胜利。那我们把时间交还给解说席。
So apparently some of the questions were, why did you throw off the Baron? Like, what the heck? Okay, Kaiser translated some of this. Let's have a look. Let's see. Why not like that? Okay. So PR trained that it's not that much interesting. She asked, why did you throw after getting Baron? You said they didn't expect the Vampire Alice to fight. That makes sense. And then Honky just blitzed them. Really good play from him. Yeah, that was Vampire's best player of the series, which makes sense. Like that was a good one. That was actually a game-changing one. Okay, so now we wait until BLG IG, which should be pretty cool. Player of the game is I have no idea how that isn't Shanks. How is that not Shanks? Well, Flandre had a pretty okay. Keanu Reeves' dogs. I hear he's very fond of his dogs. Yeah. But thanks for the follow, appreciate you. There's got to be some split votes here, right? It's Flandre's first MVP of the split, interestingly. That is interesting. Huh. Hope is the weak link. I think sadly currently, I've defended him a lot before, but I think currently, yes, he probably is, which is sad. Yeah, I know there are, yeah, I know the stuff about Shanks, folks. I know. It's a little strange because, like, yeah. I don't know. I don't really know how to approach the Shanks thing. It's the same thing with stuff like aiming, right? Where, like, how do you approach a topic like that? I don't know. I try not to speak about him as a person, more about as a player, but that's obviously not going to be satisfying to everyone. I haven't really figured out my answer to that yet. Anyway. Questions. Bin is playing? Yes, Bin is playing. It was spread out. Hang on, the random rumors by a random insider? I thought it was more... oh, you got... Wait, Flandre got player of the match as well? Huh, interesting. 6 votes top, 2 votes for jungle. I mean, the Neferi was kind of carrying them through early game, which makes some sense. Really wish I knew what the cast was saying. That's fair, I suppose. Wasting bans on Tarzan when he's the best Poppy, Pantheon, Kiana, Shin in the world? He's definitely one of the best of them for sure. The best is obviously quite a hard title to claim, of course. But he's definitely up there for sure. 100% up there for sure. Oh, there was an insider that made a stupid rumor about the bin thing? Is that just a rumor as well, or? My favorite AL player got robbed. Oh, Hope? Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think Hope had a fine game. He did have a fine game. I think he was the better AD carry in that game 3 for sure. What do you think about T1? Doran getting player of the match instead of Pays. I didn't see that series, but I do actually think that Doran may be the... It's kind of crazy. I do think that Doran may be the best top laner in the world right now. It's either him or Keen. I think those are the two top laners which have impressed me the most on watching them back. I don't think anyone in LPL top lane has consistently impressed me as much. There are some people, like, some of the highs that they have are absolutely insane, but I don't think that the consistency of LPL top laners is there right now. Wait, Ambessa's Chinese title is Iron-Blooded Wolf Mother. That is so cool. Okay, that is very cool, actually. Yeah, fair play. That's actually badass. Fair play, fair play. That is really, really cool. His confidence went up after winning Worlds. The thing is that he was always good domestically before. And then on T1 he was okay domestically. He was pretty good last year, but I think he has gone up a level. Okay, I'm gonna put on our break, and then we'll get ready for the second series. We're gonna get Gigabin today? I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about Bin right now. Okay, back into our next series now. So IG are a very entertaining team, folks. Very entertaining team. However, they are a team that has dropped down lower and lower in the standings in Group Ascend after having an incredible first series versus JDG rather. Particularly if you look at that, I think it was the game 1 they had versus JDG back in, was it week 1? Yeah, that was a very, very entertaining one. Yep, Bin was playing last night. Bin is going to be playing today, folks. The IG are currently 2-5. They won a series versus Top Esports and versus JDG. They're now 1-1 versus Top Esports. And I have to say, the longer the split goes on, the less faith I have in Photic, who started very well at Demacia Cup. And yeah, I worry about this team. I do think that IG really probably do need to change out AD carry. I think that they probably should have looked to get 1xN, although there are probably apparently problems with the agency, which 1xN is with IG specifically. But I think they should have really gotten 1xN. It's probably the big one I think about, really. Who else could they have picked up? I mean, maybe even someone at Leave would have been potentially better. It really is him, actually. Unless Jachi gets let go of Top Esports and they pick him up instead. What is this? The Plate Harvester. Which BLG players have been playing well recently? Kind of depends on game to game. Viper was pretty good in their last series, but he's been playing poorly before that. Knight's been their best player, I think. Yeah, I think Knight has been their best player on the whole. And then On as well. I think it's probably Knight and On. Probably their two best players. Viper was quite quiet, but his last series is quite good at least. Shun, if he falls behind, can be a real loss condition, which is a problem. And I think that Bin has been really all over the place. This is the roster for IG, though. No changes to them. And the mid lane matchup, of course, is going to be so important. Knight versus Rookie. Both played a lot of Orianna in this split, and of course in their careers. So what is this? Is this against each other? I think this is series wins and game wins. Although I have to say, I'm not sure the last time Rookie beat Knight in a series was. That's got to be a while. When was the last time that happened, actually? Who won JDG Annual's Legend? Annual's Legend won. It was a 3-game series. It was a 3-game series. It was fun. It was fun. Should have gotten Grizzly. Grizzly is currently on Ultra Prime, right? Okay, now we get closer to that draft, I suppose. We should probably have an interview with each player before the series. Well, not each player, but with a player from each team. So we'll have one of the Warhorse interviews. In terms of what I expect from this matchup, IG just need to throw shit at the fan. They need to just get brawling. And what they should... I think the way to beat BLG is, if you can, control bot lane. I don't think IG can do that, so that's probably not going to happen unless you get a Varus through, I suppose. And then after that, you need to pick a 5v5 and bait them into it, because they'll always 5v5.
各位好，欢迎来到赛前采访，我是主持人轩。我们先请到的是 BLG 的辅助选手 On， 先跟大家打个招呼吧。
大家好，我是全。
这场比赛也算是背靠背嘛，面对到 IG， 你觉得关键在哪里呢？
关键一点就是我们跟他们野辅的博弈。
我看到你们选手在之前的采访有提到说，现在好像队伍在前期做的不错，但是好像在中期容易出问题。在这点上，大家在做怎样的努力呢？
我觉得我们在中期的话，主要就是在资源争夺上做的非常的差，就是改进这一部分，我们就可以变成一支非常强的队伍。
好，那我们一会儿下场见。同样，我们请到的是 IG 的中路选手 Rookie， 跟大家打招呼吧。
大家好，我是 IG 中单选手 Rookie。
进入到第2轮之后，感觉队伍的状态整体来看不算是特别的理想吧？感觉哪些部分急需调整呢？
我们到了第2轮就是状态不是特别的理想嘛，然后最近的话我们就是也在通过复盘一直在讲这些问题，然后就尽量在解决我们自己存在的问题，然后希望我们今天有我们更好的状态去打 BLG。
因为你们在第1轮的时候是面对到 BLG 没有能拿到比赛的胜利嘛，今天再相遇，感觉哪些部分需要做得更好呢？
因为我觉得虽然我们这个状态也不是特别好，但是我觉得 BLG 状态也没有那么好，所以希望今天我们就是能够打好自己。
好，那我们一会儿赛场见。
Dude, those interviews are sure something, aren't they? So in the interview, apparently, on the BLG side of things, mid games have been particularly bad. But of course, the mic quality is a little bit all over the place. It's a little bit hard to tell some things. Okay, BLG, IG playing over in Shanghai. I'll be coming onto the stage now. Always gets me that.
Billy Gaming Invictus Gaming。
Onto the stage they go. In Sober. And Shun. Of course, we're playing against the team who was on last year. Ooh, God, clean feed, alright.
LPL 第1赛段组内赛第3周第6日，第2场对决将由 BLG 对阵
Clean
IG。
feed.
比赛即将开始 ，LPL 无畏进巅峰。
It has been better than it was. Like in our first few days when we were doing it off of the... Oh, I'm rocking here. But yeah, the first few days of the split was actually pretty hard to do because the clean feed was just dying all the time on Huya. But it's looking a lot better now using the Huya app instead of the website. On plays all. On's been playing very well. Yeah, I think that first week of the split, I think On was actually the best support in the world. I think that's gone about the place a bit. But yeah, I think a lot of people get caught up in the inconsistencies of On, which are very true. But like On's floor is really quite low, in a bad way, right? You know, if he low rolls, On will lose you a game. However, On is one of the few supports in the game which can high roll in a way that just no one else can. And one of the issues is that typically he's never really high rolled internationally. Not really. Not consistently anyway. Whereas, you know, when they've looked dominant regionally, On has been so good. So good. So getting close to that first draft now. Carrie's the best support in the world? Yeah. Yes? Sorry. Did someone else? Did someone say otherwise, or what? I think you're speaking with demons there, Solo G. I think you've got some voices you got to sort out there. Yeah, of course it is. It's Bin playing. Yeah, Bin is playing. And not only that, Carrie is the best support of all time now, really. You know, I think there was a point where you could still argue it was Mako. I think. I don't think that's the case now. I think Carrie has just been too good for too long now in this era. Is that On? On can high roll in a way. Yes, in week 1. In week 1 of the split. Yes. Oh my god. Stop playing. I swear to god. Listen to the words that are being said. We gotta get to the draft for the first game of Series 2. I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh, Jesus. Thoughts on Busio? He's a very good player. I like his bard. Good playmaker. I hope he does well over in KC. Into the draft, though, for Series 2. Jace gone. Malphite gone, so our 2 top-tier junglers are out the pool. Orianna, still got the Azir, needs to be banned. We've still got stuff like the Rumble unbanned currently, too. BLG with first pick. Yeah, that's the thing which the supports were doing a decade ago, Solo, by the way. Yeah, funnily enough, Edward... Mithy, a load of players chimed in saying, yeah, we were doing this in like 2015 or 2013. Jarvan banned away, so Rumble's available. First pick Rumble for BLG? I don't think Shin's has the first pick, is it? There's plenty of good junglers right now. I mean, yes, it's important to get Shin onto comfort, but you're giving up stuff like Rumble, Azir maybe for Rookie too. Nico let 3 down. Why is Shinzao the first pick? There's a Nico, there's a Rumble. Why is Shinzao the first pick? I mean, don't you just slam? Jue's Nico is so good too. Pantheon's fine for Wei. Okay, so you get an easy, a fine jungle matchup. You get the Nico. Surely the Shinzao is the wrong first pick here. Rumble's fine. That'll be good for BLG. And then, I suppose for support, you don't have to lock support now. And then the Night Rise is pretty fine here too. Does Rookie immediately slam Cassiopeia or Anivia? I think Rookie just gonna slam a counter pick here and then ban away backline access. I don't think BLG has the best way to get onto a mobile backline carry right now. The Equalizer's fine, but they don't have the best engage for it currently. Then you ban out stuff like, you know, Rakan, Nautilus, and I think you're fine after that point. Okay, no, not choosing not to. Choosing a fine matchup into top lane. In terms of the matchups into Rumble, which are kind of even, you look at Cassante and Ambessa. Those are the two which you tend to go towards. I don't like the first pick Shinzao. The draft is fine for now, but you look at the picks which IG have, and they are very threatening onto carries in the backline. Now, IG presumably want to ban away AD carries that can remain safe from Ambassa Pantheon. Although I will say, Rumble Rise are very powerful for BLG too. I didn't like the first pick Shinzao because, you know, what would have happened if you locked in, you know, Nico Rise, Nico Rumble? I think IG would have been much more happy with things there, right? Danny's drafting's been a little questionable. It has at points, yeah. Rookie Syndra banned away. Some mage matchups starting to get a little bit more thin in the ground. You want something that can follow up with the Pantheon now for Rookie. Is there another mid laner they want to ban out that counters the Rise, the Karma away from On, and the Ashe as well? Ashe Seraphim's really made a comeback in Pro recently. Bin's back? Yep, Bin is playing. He played yesterday as well. Yeah, we saw that somewhat earlier with, we saw that a little bit earlier today actually as well, Ariel. Inivia was banned out. Cassiopeia, the other Rise counter, I suppose. There is technically Malzahar too, but I wouldn't want to play Malzahar into Rumble. I guess Galio? Galio's good with the Ambessa. Yep. You got the Cassiopeia for the better lane counter, but Galio Rise is pretty fine as a matchup as far as they go. You have Pantheon Ambessa to throw into the play, and now you have just double circles of doom with the Galio Nico as well. So now if the Shinzao gets caught out in the fight, much like the game that we just watched between JDG and Anyone's Legend, if you get caught in the meat grinder, the Nico Galio kind of giving a landing space for Ambassa to just spin to win can be really, really devastating. To BLG, they presumably want something that can survive lane versus the Nico. Taking away the Sivir is a good start, I think. It gives you mobility to the top side of the map, which can lack it sometimes. And the Lulu. So now BLG don't have great engage, but they do have the Shinzao Lulu. Is this just a scrim meta thing? Shinzao Lulu just seen as super OP? Super OP? That's gotta be it, right? Last pick for Photic. I think the Kai'Sa's fine here. You got plenty of engaged. You just Ambassa Kai'Sa into the backline. Guys, I think IG come away with a better draft, folks. I'm gonna put on quick ad breaks so you don't get them in game. But I think IG get away with. I think they have I think they have the better draft. Now BLG, they have, you know, the lanes are somewhat even, but BLG don't have the best way to start a fight. I mean, I like IG's draft here. I mean, it's playable lanes. Perhaps BLG have slightly better lanes and a slightly better early jungler. So BLG will have to play through early game fights and side lane with, well, and side lane kind of rotations, which they've worked well around. But I think that IG are very happy with this. You have Ambassa Galio, you have Pantheon flying in, you've got the Kai'Sa Nico, which is a good lane and a good combo. Let's get into the draft. And onto the Rift. Let's hear those gyos. Well, IG, definitely the more quieter the crowd there. And now we get to see whether IG can pull off what is actually a very good snappy engage comp, honestly. I like it. I do like it a lot. Knight getting early control over the wave, no surprise there. Ooh, missed the passive on that auto. A little bit. Not the worst thing ever, though. Thank you for the follows, by the way. It does make a lot of difference to us. Happening on the rest of the map. Early shove in from the Sivir Lulu, no surprise. And of course the Sivir, buffed up by the Lulu, can do some mad stuff. This game might just be carried by Viper getting just a crazy amount of value from the Lulu. Photic popping the barrier early. Of course, the worry for IG, for those of you who are new to these rosters and these teams. IG's bot lane. Look, Jway is an up-and-coming support who is very impressive. He might, in fact, be the best up-and-coming LPL support. Between him and Bo's Vampire, we'll see whether Palkia can join them on that as well. Some impressive people, though, showing their face in the support role across the LPL, which is a lot of breath. I think particularly with players like Ming retiring. Oh, popping the Gallia, popping the, oh, hang on. Ooh, if that Q had hit, that could have been really scary, actually. Takes a tower shot now. No, maybe Rookie. Hang on, Rookie can kill here, by the way. Pot ticking up. Harder now. Jun walking into wait. They're both on vision. No one wants to start a camp to take damage. Ooh, hits him. Not going to follow through, though, with the audacious charge. Trying to steal off that red buff. Knight, the reason why he's going for that heavier trade there means he can push in mid lane. Way's still looking for the steal, though. Jun gonna try and secure it with a W. Might come down to a smite fight. On heading over. Way still around, and it goes over to Shun, and Sway still flashes. Way flashes and doesn't get it. Shun walks away with the camp. Good steal from him. BLG have forever light going for these early invades. Although Shun sometimes goes for his Joshin, he walks away with that. Correct me if I'm wrong, it was Shun that gets it though, right there. Oh, did Wei? Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. Wei did get it. I'm so wrong. I'm so wrong. I saw the smites come through. Wei ends up getting it. That's what I was looking at the CS advantage. Thinking, hang on, that can't be true. So Shun messes up the early invade. My bad. Shun did this versus Tarzan as well on Anyone's Legend in one of their games on the Nocturne. And we were saying, hey, sometimes he doesn't get the most out of his early invades. And I think, again, here, it happens. Does get the flash out away, though. He'll be happy with that. Is Jway or Vampire better? I think that Vampire is less consistent, but has higher highs. Vampire is way more likely to lose you a game, but his peaks are higher than Jway's. Although Jway's not bad at that front either. So Shun goes back into his own jungle. End of the day, I suppose, he doesn't lose any camps. So Shun, as long as he clears through them, he's just down time, which is valuable, that time that you lose. The Shun and Wei actually even, but it doesn't mean that Wei is not behind in the matchup where he should have been. And we did say, look, BLG probably do need an early advantage. Sobro up here, of course, filling in for the shoes of the Shy, who's taking a break. For the first bit. Bin can look for the auto attack and he gets the first blood. Bin roasting him alive. Sobro saying, yeah, he's filling in for the Shy. Oh, well, the Shy's never died in lane, but still. Danger point now. Bin starts getting ahead. Flash for flash. But no flash here in the jungle. Shun does, but Rookie's walking over. Getting the extra bit of help there. Shun. Smite goes to Wei again. Bin coming down. He has the level 6. Oh, that could be a problem. Wei doesn't have flash, remember. That Pantheon is really not happy. Was it worth it for the Raptors? I'm not sure it was. Bin 2 kills out of the early game. This Rumble is online. He'll recall, teleport back to top lane. What's he going to get? Full Haunting Guys, probably. Full, okay, different. Full boots. It's plated seal caps. And the amp tome. Not really sure what Cerber can do about that now. And typically, you'd like to, you know, gank the Rumble, see what you can do about that. Battle Rumble with the defensive boots has become more popular over time. Used to be just assault boots all the time. But I think with the increasing popularity of Tabby, It's much more important to go towards the defensive boots. Sobro, a player, you know, we were just saying, look, you know, replacing the Shy. He's had positives and negatives. Occasionally, has been stuck. Hang on, Shun can go behind bot lane here. He has the flash, trying to go for against the slope. That's a problem. Photic has no flash now. Where's the extra damage? There it is. Photic goes down. Shun has been everywhere in this early game, trying to make something happen. BLG, they needed the early advantage. Well, now they have it. First kill away from that top lane too. Goes to Viper. This Sivir can be so destructive in this composition. Knight with a 10 CS lead will grow actually after this wave finishes as well. Denies another 2 minions from that wave. Knight having a good time in the early laning phase. N2 versus the Galio, but good to see it work out here. Why did BLG curl up their Academy top laner if Bin is playing? Well, the rumor was that there was some, you know, some arguments happening. And they resolved, but that was the rumor. Bin again, controlling this top side. Shun looking towards that top scuttle. Now we have stuff like the Hero's Entrance and the Realm Warp in. You've got to pay attention to those semi-globals. Wei does get the level 6. There's another one in there. Double semi-global to use. IG can turn up very quickly, so can BLG though. Sivir ult will definitely help with that later into the game. Knight ahead, 15 odd CS onto Rookie. Rookie tried to help out that Raptor invade earlier. Knight trying to see if Rookie had recalled, I suppose. Walks up to intercept the wave. Potential of Pantheon going towards mid lane. Knight has Ghost and Flash though. Doesn't pull the trigger. Hey, Peanut, good to see you. That's a lot of wards onto a Scuttle Crab as well. Hang on, did, yeah, they were just highlighted that it was taken by BLG, that was it. Really talking a lot about this vision control here. I'd imagine what the Chinese casters are saying here is, wow, how do you ult onto someone like the Rumble and shut him down with the semi-globals if there's vision everywhere? And there's another one hit. Wei is completely spotted. Top river, completely warded out. Ward onto Raptors. The early lanes from BLG working out well here. Give them that extra bit of information to make the play. Now, Bin does need to be careful because, you know, they know that Wei was just on Raptors. He's trying to protect that vision there. Wei's pathing back up towards top lane. Could take Wolves here. And there, yeah, he's going for the ult. They think he's heading towards bot side. No, he's not. He's heading towards top side. The Ambassador ult misses. Bin, can he make it out? He does have the steel caps. Does help him a bit. Basically, he got baited by the vision. Thought he was safe. Good play from Wei to go from the expected path bot lane to top lane instead. Getting that kill. Bin goes down. You can understand why he thought he was safe. Because Wei was just spotted on Raptors. Thought maybe he'd head towards bot side, towards Krugs. Headed top side instead. Now starts up Grubbs. Dragon was taken by BLG. You should follow us there as well. Again, if you're enjoying what you're seeing, think about dropping a like, follow, subscribe. It doesn't matter to us. No, we do this every day. And we hope that you enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you again, man. Shen clearing through his bot side camps. Now down a bit of gold against Wei, who gets himself that first kill for IG in the game. We saw Wei really be a key linchpin to their victory versus JDG, actually, in that series. Was Wei playing against his old team in BLG, a team which didn't really feel like Wei left on great terms with. BLG, not sure. Well, I don't know. I don't know if they really treated him that fairly. Wei did bring them to Worlds in 2024, and obviously Shun took over again after they started failing in the group stage. But Wei is a player who I think deserves a bit more respect for his recent years. Because people saw him internationally and obviously didn't do well, but regionally in summer 24, he's the reason why BLG made it to the World Championships in the first place. Oh, is that Pilk Gaming logo? It's been a while since we've talked about Pilk. Has everyone been staying hydrated on your Pepsi milk? Oh, God. Of all the drinks in the world, that is sure one of them. We should be talking more about Pilk. We used to talk about it a lot, and then I feel like we had to put it on cooldown for a bit to be able to recognize it again. Potential... Used to be a little careful here, actually. While Dre really wants to pop the ult, puts the flash out of On. The Summoner for none. Summoner economy trade that. Of course, no Nico ult does mean that you're a lot less strong now. Now, if you want to fight with these Raptors, you don't have a Nico ult, which is, in the short term, better for BLG. Even though they're down the flash. Smite again goes away there, actually. So he's, what, 3 for 3 on Smites? Red buff Raptors. Never tried Pilk? Ah, you really should. It is a great experience for everyone involved. Shun going towards bot side. Photic will spot him out with a W. Does have the plasma to ult then, if something crazy came in. W onto Photic. A little bit of HP removed there again. Bot lane quest completed for Viper at about 11 minutes 30 seconds. See when Photic gets his. 10 CS down. 3 plates to 1, I believe. Of course, the plate's helping a lot too. Viper's doing very well here. 1.2k up, of course, 400 of that comes from the role quest. Like a bit of a free cull, I suppose. This reminds me, fun fact, sometime in 24 to 25, BLG did a content piece and part was asking each player what champion represented them best. On chose Lulu. That's interesting. Ah, I wonder whether that's because of personality or playstyle. Oh, Photic's in danger, has to pop that barrier. It's actually pretty close to dying there, you know. Shun spotter coming bot side on that Warden River. What happened? Did IG throw or is BLG performing? Well, this is only 12 minutes into the game, so we don't have much to say, right? BLG have had good early games. They have had good snowballs, good lanes. The problem is that they just don't know what to do with a lead. Much like last year, they just don't know how to play through a lead. Way's taking red buff. Shun, do you have anyone coming up to help him? Jway's over here. Just have his ult back up. Jway takes away red buffs. Happy there. Slight lead over Shun. Partly because that kill, really. XP is actually on Shun's favor, though. A couple of camps up for now. Teleport behind Sobero. Okay, that's Bin. Get the slow. Ult misses. Good sidestep from Bin. The tier 2 boots helping there. Do they blow the flash here? Maybe. Equalizer coming down. Flash for flash, and Sobero will die. Ult coming through from the Pantheon, and that's a good knockback. Wait, we'll still get the ult onto Shun as he follows in with the audacious charge. Rookies come up here, though, as well, and this will be at least 1 kill back. IG showcasing how much value they can get out of their long-range engage ults. Viper popping that ultimate to make sure he's got the move speed to face down potentially for a bit more damage. Photic is really not enjoying this matchup versus Viper. Knight will take the first turret to the game in the bot side as well. BLG trade evenly 1-for-1 in top side, but the other parts of Knight and Viper getting good value elsewhere, so BLG they win out on the map. BLG 23, Elk on Jinx Lulu destroyed Juna Carrier. Yeah, MSI 23, yeah, you're absolutely right. Yagao in that tournament as well, famously beating Chovy and Knight in best of 5s at the same tournament, which is... Folks, can you think of anyone else who's ever won a best of 5 versus Chovy and Faker in the same tournament? That's got to be a really rare feat, right? Most players have barely beaten, you know, either of those players. Yagao, one of those players. Very strange folk. Yeah, MSI 23, a great time for BLG's bot lane, yeah. I think particularly Elk Jinx around that era was so powerful. Viper popping that Elixir of Wrath. Gets that turret in mid lane too. Damn, this bot lane, when they win, they do put a load of pressure down. I have to say, one of the big things about BLG has been that question of where do they put the resources, who's getting the pressure. Because BLG do actually like to put a lot of pressure towards Bin. Even when they draft a bot side centric comp, they like to give a gank over towards Bin. That sometimes put BLG behind the map. Typically, they only really succeed when On is on a roaming champion as well. This isn't the case here. They're doing quite well. Forces versus IG, a team which don't look like they've got all their ducks in a row. Whenever I'm reminded of Bo, I grieve for what could have been. Well, yeah. Sad situation. Herald going down. I thought, well, BLG shouldn't fight this. They might do. They shouldn't, though. Rubble's coming over. Does have the ultimate. It's going down low. The objectives is down. Viper pops the ultimate. He really wants to battle Sivir here. Trying to deny the actual pickup of the Herald itself. Well, Viper really swinging with that PD energy, I suppose. Comes in as himself. Has a Lulu speed up, has his own. Stops him from picking up the Herald. Okay. Damn, Viper. Throwing his way around. Shun going towards top side. I think both of them will be spotting each other on these sweepers here. I don't think they can dive a Rumble Ambassador at full HP, and indeed they can't. Is Viper really an upgrade over Elk? I'm always hearing how poor Viper is, but how poor Viper is. The last 2-3 years he's not stepped up. That's not true. Viper's been excellent the last 2 years. That's surprising. Bin's dying to the globals on top side. IG pulling the trigger, getting a kill there. This time BLG don't have pressure across the maps. This one's just a clean one. No, Viper's been excellent the last couple of years. Last year, I think he was the best AD carry in the world, Viper. He's very, very good on HLE, despite the fact that that team sometimes struggled to find a secondary carry, depending on how coin flip Zeka was, and what role they were giving Zeus in the team. However, in this year so far, I think Elk has been better than Viper in the early stages of LPL. Might not stay that way, but really should call out, and shout out rather, Elk for having a very good start to 2026. Is Photic filling up shoes in Jakilov's spot? No. Jakilov is on top esports, and it's Jachi filling in for him. Photic is replacing the outgoing Gala, so he's expected to stay here for long term. This isn't like a temporary replacement. I'm not sure it's an upgrade. I think it should be on paper. Look, Viper was the best AD carry in the world last year, and Elk is good. Elk is like a top 5 AD carry in the world. But I think Viper was the best, so it's, you know, it's replacing a great AD carry with a legendary one, an even better one, I suppose. Knight taking it. Hang on. Oh, flash away. Realized couldn't quite outstep that. Good ult there from Sobro this time. Forces both summoners out of Knight. He was 1.4k. Is 1.4k ahead of Rookie. IG doing a decent job of pulling the trigger, but the problem is BLG just has so much pressure across the map, and BLG are a good side laning team. They're playing tomorrow. How are they eliminated? If HLE get 3-0'd by Gen G tomorrow, they're eliminated, I believe. I believe that's the case. Let me go check on the LCK formatty thing. Viper was not better than Ruler last year. Yes, he was across the average of it, if you counted Winter Split and, of course, Worlds as well, where Ruler had quite a poor World Championship. He absolutely was better than Ruler last year across the average. Although Ruler was definitely up there as one of the best AD carries in the world. Definitely top 3. Probably top 2. Second best. Yeah. Okay, so basically what happens tomorrow is the winner of the series tomorrow will end up winning the group contest effectively. And basically, if HLE loses 0-3, they will end up going below DRX, finishing bottom 2 in their group, and because they're in the losing group at that point, they'll go out. Yeah. So if Gen G 3-0s them, they're out. Yeah, tomorrow. Hang on. Viper going forward. Sivir ulting in. Jway looking for that ult. It's not great, actually. It doesn't really hit the targets, and Jway goes down. Doesn't find a great engage, and Viper just runs forwards again, putting down the hurt. BLG, the pressure they've been building, finally comes together into a grouped up fight, and IG do not have the damage to win that DPS check. No one's pushing elsewhere on the map. BLG pushing into an inner turret at 19 minutes. Crystallize will help. Bit of a taunt onto Shun. Viper takes aggro there. And IG, they might have the ultimates to split the map, but BLG putting the pressure on, running around with the Sivir ultimate, really hurting them. Viper was absolutely not better in some of the regular season. Yes, so what about winter, and then spring, and then worlds? You know, there's a reason I word it as average across the year. It turns out that's it's quite an important phrase there. Yeah. And MSI, well, what about first stand then at that point? You know, if you're going to say about international tournaments where one was and one wasn't, well, Ruler wasn't at first stand, so what about that? You know, it's fairly even across that. I know MSI matters more than first stand, it does, but Viper's been excellent across the last year, and Ruler is probably the second best AD carry across the entirety of last year. I'm sorry, is Ruler a favorite player of yours? Look, I like Ruler, and I think that Ruler was great across last year, probably the second best AD carry across last year. But Viper was, I think that Viper was incredibly good, and to disrespect him, I think is a mistake. T1 with Pays look good. They do. I think that T1 has a really good read on the meta. I think the big thing about T1 is that I think they actually have the better meta read than Gen G for the first time in a long time. I think that domestically, Gen G has pretty much always had a better meta read than T1 in the last era. But I think that right now, I think that T1 are better at moving across the map with jungle support than Gen G. Gen G play a little slow for the meta for my liking. I think that's true. I think Ruler was on the better team than Viper last year, and Viper still looked very good. It's very hard to look good as an AD carry when your team doesn't look great. And sometimes HLE would downswing. You know, they were still a top team in the LCK, but I think when you've got players like Delight and Zeka who are particularly inconsistent, it look good when your mid and support weren't good. There's obviously a bonus point too. That's fair. Viper, Ruler always close, but Viper more consistent and plays everything well. Ruler has higher peaks and plays some champions insane. I think that's a fair take. I mean, it's not a huge distance between them for sure. I can't believe Viper is in the LPL. He was in the LPL when he won Worlds in 2021 as well, reminder. Oh, HLE are also out if they lose 1-3 and their win is longer than 34 minutes. Oh god, that's nasty too. So if it goes hyper late game and they win, it still won't be enough. They need to win 2 games at that point. Oof. Do you think Ryu is an upgrade or downgrade from Coach Kim? We don't know until we see them under pressure, really. Now, I do think that Gen G's drafting was perhaps the worst part. That was the weakest part of their recent era with Kim as well. So I think there are questions about that. But we don't know whether Ryu will be an upgrade or not. Ruler had a more impressive latter half of the year, but his Worlds was bad. The thing is, though, his Worlds was bad. I think that Ruler has had now, particularly that series versus KT, was just really not good. And I think that, you know, Viper was very, very good in Worlds too. I think he was a better AD carry at Worlds than Ruler across the average. I'd say Pays is the best AD carry in the world right now. He had a couple of weaker series a little before, but I think that now he's starting to get onto a really good run of form. Yes, I think that T1 has a really good meta read, and I think that Doran's on really good form. I think that Carrier may be the best player in the world. Again, which is terrifying. If ever Carrier is the best player in the world, they feel that there's very little he can do against T1. I think that actually what was surprising last year was that Carrier struggled quite a lot last year. It was, up until Worlds playoffs, it was one of the worst years for Carrier, I think. And then obviously he turned it around then, but yeah. I'm Nymaera, thank you for your overall take on ADCs. You can definitely say whatever made Viper the best last year was his consistency. Yeah, I agree, kind of. And thanks for trying again. Hayes Jin is average. He was very good in LPL. Viper, Ruler, Pays, top 3 in the world, blah, blah, blah. At least mention Elk. I mean, Elk on current form is doing really... Oh. Oh, no. No! Photic took... He stole red buff! And then what happened here? Hang on, then Wei couldn't pick up red buff. Hang on. Oh, that's a bug. Oh, we might... Oh, dear, folks. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Okay, hang on. So so it isn't necessarily the problem that Photic took red buff. The problem is Photic took red buff and then Wei could not get his own red buff. Because it's still meant to be buff sharing, right? So you're meant to be able to... if the jungler takes it, you can give it to a teammate, and then a teammate, if it takes it, the jungler should be able to take it too. So that means that now Wei is walking around without a red buff. Oh god, this might be a chrono break. This might be a chrono break, folks. Hang on. Let me put some text on screen for people who are coming in. Do I have any text? Do I have any text in here? What's this? Let's put that in there. We'll really put this down to size. We'll write this up at the top of the screen. So that's as that. So basically, Wei would be running around without a red buff, which is important. That is important. Red buff. I mean, You have to pause for this stuff. You do. You do. Overall, Viper clears out. Well, hang on, wait, folks. Okay, if you're talking about currently, I actually think that Elk has been better than Viper. Like, in terms of the last week of play. If you're talking about, like, the last however many years, obviously it's Viper. Viper's been well above most other AD carries in the world. And while I think Elk was a top 5 ADC, I think actually his 25 was okay. No, even then. Yeah. Anyway, so this could, folks, this could actually take a while now. You turn up the opacity in this a little bit. Imagine tuning in and the first thing you say is, voting took red. He's my top 5 AD carries all time? Well, you probably need, like, Deft, Ruler. You definitely Deft and Ruler in there. Deft and Ruler are definitely in there. And then after that, it's a bit of a shit show, because then you have to question stuff like, how far up do you put Uzi? I wouldn't put Imp in there at this point now. Imp just didn't last long enough at the top level. I don't think Guma makes it into the top 5. I mean, he's close. I think you probably need Viper in there. So you probably need Viper, Deft, Ruler as 3 of them, and then like probably Uzi. And then I would put, well, Jaculov has been very, very high peak, but he only really made it work at Worlds 2018. Of course, didn't really show up internationally beyond that. Now, shout out to Gala. Gala's also up there. I think you have to consider Guma. You do have to consider Guma. The problem with Guma is that he spikes for such short amounts of time, and he hasn't won anything off of T1. That's the thing which is genuinely holding him back. It's just like he hasn't won anything off of T1. There's too many question marks. It's like, you know, if you're playing with Faker and Carrier, who are the 2 best, out-and-out best players of their role of all time, it really does hurt your claim to top 5. I think he's obviously in consideration. What I really want to see is, you know, Guma and Zayas succeed outside of T1 to really put that kind of rumor to rest. I will say, though, Guma is the best AD carry at Worlds specifically. If you look at average level of play to how they play at Worlds, Guma is the best glow-up merchant of all AD carries. But I think across the average of play, I put it this way, I don't think Guma has had, like, I don't think he's had as many entire years when he's been the best AD carry in the game. Whereas I think that Ruler, Deft, Viper have had years, several years when they've been competing for best AD carry in the world. I think that Guma, like, his Worlds performances are legendary, but I think across the entirety of the year, he's struggled to put himself out as the best AD carry in the world. If you look for peak only perks as part of the conversation, in terms of creativity, in terms of overall level of play, oof. Bang, look, I love Bang. Bang was really good. He was. Even then, though, I think he was still contested too heavily by players like Deft and Prey at the time. Bang was very good. I think people probably underrate Bang now. Yeah, no, Deft is probably still best AD carry of all time for me. Deft or Rulo is one of the 2, I suppose. Yeah, the 5th place is the hard one, because I think the ones which are kind of a shoo-in for me are Ruler, Deft, Viper. Those ones are like, yeah, and then probably Uzi. And then the 5th one is really hard. 5th one is really hard. We could be here for a while, folks. Okay, okay, so 5th place, I'm not gonna anger any subsets of fans. I'll give you top 4, and then the 5th you can argue amongst yourselves. Let's think about other roles then. Because I tell you what, support is probably the hardest one to rank, probably. I'm gonna put Guma for sure. Absolutely, I can understand the logic for it. For me, I'm just worried that it's too much. There's too many caveats of playing on T1 and like the year thing. But which is why it's an open question. With support, it gets quite hard, though. Because support, you have, I think, Carrier, Mako are clear top 2, and then after that, it's just a crapshoot. It's Carrier, Mako, and then you just have to be like, well, I have no idea. Because you probably do have Barrel in top 5. You probably have Barrel. 5th is Paddock. Oh, God, Paddock's been playing quite poorly in LEC recently. It's been a bit sucky. No. You do actually need to put Beryl in top 5. He's the only player to win Worlds without Faker twice. No one else has done that. And then outside of that, 4th and 5th is like probably Mata. Mata probably needs to be there. And then, I don't know, 5th is all over the place. 5th is all over the place. I'm not sure about 5th. Maybe I'd chuck in Mad Life for the lols, yeah. Cool. Okay, top lane or jungle? Mid lane I actually find an easier time with it. Top lane or jungle? Jungle, okay, jungle's not... Yeah, jungle's a bit of a weird one. Because jungle you probably have... I mean, it's Canyon. You have Canyon in there, probably at number 1. He was just too good to find the meta for too long. People really... Yeah. You have someone like Canyon. Who else even makes the shortlist? No way you put Canyon over Owner? Yeah, of course you do. Yeah, no. I think Canyon, if you look at like the entirety of his career, he has been dominant, just utterly dominant. Like if you look at his last year was probably probably his worst year on record, and even then he was still winning tournaments and shit. Like, Canyon is quite... And if you look back at his 2020, 21, just, oh my god, this stuff he was doing. Canyon is number 1 no-brainer, actually. It's actually just not even close. Canyon is... And then you probably look at people like Owner in top 5 somewhere, but I'm not sure how close to the top he is. Then you think of... Look, last year, Owner was arguably best jungler in the world. But I think if you look at the years before that, he was maybe underrated, but I don't think he was better than Canyon or Tarzan, for instance. Or Peanut, maybe even. Weirdly, you actually might have to consider someone like Carsey, you know, in top 5 at some point. Score is somewhere around the conversation, but I don't know how... Score was so good, but Score was fantastic. But he didn't win that much, though. The Score was incredible. Owner probably is in top 5. Owner's in top 5. Not mentioning Bengi is criminal. Let's talk about Jankos. Legitimately, Jankos is top 10. I don't know if he's top 5, but he is in top 10. Jankos is around there. Hey, Flying Series, thanks for the follow. Diamond Prox, if you go for the laws. Diamond Prox is one of my very favorite players of all time. Sam has a signed jersey by him. We got to cast him in NLC when he was playing on Bifrost of all teams. Ambition. Who would I put above Owner? Canyon. And then I'm thinking. Again, the problem with someone like Owner is he played with Faker and Carrier like his entire career, which is just a huge problem. I rate Inspired higher than Jankos? No. If you look back to like 2017, like 2016 to 2019, Jankos was like the only Western player that was really like competing like best in role consistently. Jankos is legit top 10. He's not top 5, but he's top 10. Yeah, maybe if you really value him, you can do him into top 5, maybe, but that's... I'd need to think more about that. But Jankos is actually probably the only role which I would consider fairly close to it. Peanut, I think you probably need Peanut at top 5. You do. Peanut is up there. Because he's just been around for such a long time, just at top level. Yeah, I agree, Jonas. Yeah, I think Jankos was really, really good in 2019. But even if you look back to like 2017, I think we're... What have we done? So what have we done? Oh, so it was a Chrono Break, folks. We have gone back into a Chrono Break. We'll get back into the game. I'm actually going to put on a quick break. I'm going to actually put on a quick ad break just so we don't get pre-roll later on. Hopefully this... Oh, God, no. Dragon spawning now. That might have been a mistake. Whatever. I'm going to put on a quick break now. And hopefully we'll get back into it. So, as you can see, red buff is alive. Okay, so red buff's alive now. And Wei is still not going to... I swear to God if he still can't pick it up. I swear if he still can't pick it up. He's not even going to pick it up now. Guys? Oh, hang on. Do you recall and then go back to it? Does he... Please pick it up. Please, come on. You have to show him pick it up. Come on. What's happening here? Come on. He's going to go over to it now. He's left it to delay it a little bit, and he wants to go pick it up. Did he get it? He still doesn't get it. He still doesn't get the red buff. He still doesn't have the red buff. It's still not. Oh my god! It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. So the same bug happened. They chrono braked for it and it still happened. And now they're just laughing because like, what the hell's happening here? This is a bug. We all clearly saw him walk over that red buff and it didn't pick it up. Well, now we've seen that twice. So, no. Do we have to chrono break it again? Guys, do you think if this happens, it would be the first time ever that we chrono break 2 times for the same bug? Is this the first time ever that we'd chrono break twice for the same bug? I think this might be the first time ever. Why is laughing randomly? Because they've just chrono break. The enemy team just chrono break twice for the same bug. Sorry, there are a couple of questions for in chat. Let's have a look. By the way, I am obviously live on Twitch and YouTube, so if I'm not speaking to one chat, I'm speaking to the other, basically. Canyon 19 to 21 was peak, his 22 was worse, but I mean, his 22 was still exceptional, really. 23 was still excellent. No, his 23 and 4 was still pretty damn good, too. No, his 22 was, yeah, his 22 was a little bit weaker, for sure. Yeah. Tell people over at YouTube they suck? Well, you heard it now. YouTube. He clicked outside both times. He walked into it. He walked into it. No, he definitely walked into it there. Well, I'm glad to put that small ad break on now, then. This could be a long... This could be a long pause, folks. I don't know what they do. What happens at this point? Do you just accept the bug? That'd feel really shit. I think this might be the first time I've ever seen the same thing chrono break for twice. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Ever. Oh, that's true, Jonas. Yeah. Yeah, no, I forgot about that series. That was also the Syndra Game 5, was it? Was that the Kane which he pulled out then? The game started already? It started, and then the same bug happened. Hillisang chrono break twice because he couldn't get in a Rise ult. It wasn't even a bug. Well, that's not for a bug then. That's just as intended and he didn't understand the interaction. I remember that now though. But I think that was in 2 separate points in the game. Okay, so I think they're just deciding to play on. I think they're deciding to play on. So Shun gets the dragon. Wei's now in the pit. Took the blast gun over. We're into the fight. After like 3 minutes of stuff. Viper flashes out of the Galio ult. Sobro goes into melee range and Viper dies. Sobro lives through it. Can they finish anyone else? They're into the burning equalizer. Knight's gonna go forwards. And he'll kill down Wei. Rookie getting engaged onto now as well. Another kill. Bin picks up Photic. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 and the clean feed now takes this time to slow down and die slightly. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to go refresh this. I swear to God. So this will be, this will just go back a little bit and it'll speed back up to live, I think. I swear to God. Why have we got a chrono break and then this happens? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Why? Why? Why now? Okay, I'll switch over to the other one. Maybe this will work. Why is the clean feed just died? There we go. Hopefully this will be fine. Ah. Sometimes the Lord sends you, you know, trials. Appreciate the follows. I swear to God. Why? Yeah, the clean feed completely fine during the entire chrono break, and then that happens. Lovely, lovely. Yay. You weren't there for the Fnatic pause hack? I was. Yeah, I was. I just forgot that one. Because wasn't that one versus... There was a bunch of ones like that. And it went way... The Fnatic pause hack went way before the Hillisang stuff. That went back to like season 3. They've had remakes and shit like that before. And clean feed. He's gonna die. As Sobro gets engaged onto. That's very, very convenient. He's dead. Why wasn't this during the clean... Why wasn't this during the break? Yeah, he dies. Cool. Jumping now into mid lane. BLG do have so much pressure about the place. Shun's taking a lot of damage, but Yeah, it turns out it's quite hard to kill a Shinzao when he has the ultimate up. It's still running. They managed to take 2 down on the other side. 1 for 2. Shinzao, tanky as heck with that ultimate. Very hard to kill him. Have to get into the danger zone to kill him. Sobro's died. 2 dead in mid lane as well. Sobro, Wei, and Photic, all the casualties there. Now Rookie's going to get engaged onto here. I'm not sure there's any follow. I say engaged. It's a Lulu walk in with a little lance. He'll lose himself the top turret, lose himself a cannon to tower. Knight is down 3,000 gold ahead of Rookie. Knight is a very competent Rise player. Sobro died on my screen in half a second. Yeah, same here. Same here. Yep. And Knight will take a blue buff as well because, you know, why not? It's 2 levels up on Rookie, by the way, courtesy of the Rod of Ages and just regular XP advantage. They catch out on recalling. Odd'll die. Good pick off by Wei. Pantheon working well for him, though. Knight's working his way to a Flame Horizon. 60 CS up right now, yeah. Shun's 50 CS up, by the way. Doing very well at out-farming in the jungle. He's 2 levels up on Wei. You chrono breaked all this for what? Well, they're starting Baron now because they killed On. Trying to fight in the 4v5. Well, this is probably the chance for IG to turn things around. Rookie on the flank. Baron at half HP. Shun coming in. Does have the ultimate back up again. Doesn't hit the double. He walks into the pit. And there's an equalizer there too. I don't think that's looking particularly good for IG. Jungler's dead. They have no smite. They do kill the Sivir though. There's no AD carry. Will this come down to a smite fight? Shun might die. Oh my god, IG! Baron goes down to BLG. They do secure it. Triple kill for Knight's Rise. Can he make it a quadra? Realm Walk being used. Rookie not going to get himself brought back. It won't be the quadra. Bin will take that extra kill as BLG clutch things out even though they lose their bot lane. Lulu before the play, Viper during it. Yeah, guys, if only Wei had his red buff, I think this game would have really changed. Yeah, that red buff changes everything, you know? Oh, God. Knight level 17 taking away Raptors. He's just farming up a storm. So, Viper pulled the ult. What happened here? I guess Dway just got onto him. Viper... Ah, the spell shelter. Okay, well... Yeah. Not much surviving that. Not much surviving that. IG lose a lot more of their damage if both their ADCs die. I think in a perfect scenario, Ambessa late game can also pick up the damage, but yeah, the Rise is... yeah. At this point in the game, the Rise is just disgusting. Level 16. Wait, took way too long. It's really hard to time that, isn't it? 10,000 gold up, soul on the table. Well, BLG a clean game here at least. Very strong early game into a snowball. Viper's pressure on that Sivir has been nuts. Been solo kill. It's top lane. Oh, Equalizer comes down onto the group target. Dway, yeah, he doesn't have that flash. Used it to kill Viper before. Doesn't have it now to survive himself. Goes down. Baron push is going to be very strong here. Can they take it down in this wave? Maybe, actually. They can tank it up. Doing a lot of damage to the tower. Not quite, though. Most of the plate's gone. Don't want to take too much damage. The Lulu shield's helping. Worth noting that On has always been actually a pretty good enchanter player. Those remember back to MSI 23 and the 23 season in general. Very good. Jumping into bot side. Jumping onto Knight. Do they have... No, he's not in range just yet. Knight doesn't have the summoners. They might be able to kill him. Doesn't get himself the bounces, but he does go golden. Shields there. Oh my god, it's so much shielding. Viper flashes forwards, gets another kill. Choi back out onto the field, but it doesn't feel like he's there to do that much. Just spectate. Knight takes so long to die. Does go down for his first death of the game. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. 3 people dead. That should be the death push because Knight took so long to kill behind the Lulu shields and the Seraphs. Rookie trying to keep himself alive, but he can't exactly wave clear is the problem. Nexus turret going down. Jump forwards from Shun. Kills off the Nico. 1 less defender. And I think Rookie will also be sent back to the sepia screen. BLG cleanly finish off this game. It felt like the pauses were longer than the game itself. They paused twice for the same bug. The same thing happened. And IG still do not get any bonus out of it. They lose that game very quickly. 26 minutes. That was not close, folks. That was not close. Not close at all. Well, welcome back, everyone. I'll get rid of that text, I suppose. Welcome back, everyone. My name's Nymaera. I cast the LPL. Normally here with my brother, Initialise, but Sam's off for a couple of days. And, we love casting LPL. Now, there's no official LPL broadcast anymore, which means that if you want to see a more, I suppose, traditionally cast version of these games, please consider liking, subscribing, dropping a follow. It helps keep us alive, because at the end of the day, we can't keep doing this 7 days a week, all the time, if we don't somehow making a living off of it. And luckily, we're actually very close to that. We've had some very generous followers and very generous donators, which makes a big difference to us. If you'd like to be part of that, please consider dropping something on the Ko-fi link or onto the subscription. And also just spending your time here helps us battle the algorithm either way. I'm going to go put some music on in the background. And I guess we'll watch for those post-game stats. BLG just won 3 lanes, kinda. Although I have to say their skirmishes were way better too. Photic is not looking great again, folks. Photic is looking quite poor. We had a fun conversation about top 5 in every role all time, though. Definitely it's a conversation which evolves over time. I'll tell you something. Oh, I tell you, there's a video series I'm going to do. I mentioned this on a podcast the other day. A video series I want to do is top 10 champions in different classes of champion. You know, like the Wolfie VGC. What's the bet? Like the 10 best. What are the greatest fire type Pokemon of all time, specifically in the pro level? So I'm gonna start doing a video series on that. So keep your eyes open for that. In fact, I might show it on stream when I finally get around to it. But yeah. So I'm starting with Marksman, and it'll be like a top 10 countdown in pro all time only. I think Marksman's probably the easiest one to do. Top 10 Brahms of all time. Yeah. No, this is specifically for champions rather than players, because I think that's content which I don't think is really out there for League right now. The number 10 Braum is Braum. The number 9 Braum is Braum. The number 8 Braum is Braum. Oh, Braum is the champion. So what are the top 10 Braums? Well, I think Braum is coming in number 10. Yeah. But yeah, I'll keep you updated on that, because I need to write a script for it still. Or like I have my order of champions, so I won't spoil it. But yeah. The number 4 Braum is surprisingly Alistair. It's literally just like, you know, it's like dark type. It's just like fairy type, fairy terror, and Incineroar. So my joke, so I could actually just copy and paste that joke from Wolfie, because it's like, and the best mage of all time is Ezreal building Runeglaive. And the best tank of all time is Ezreal building Death's Dance. Because it'll always be like an Ezreal build of all time, which made its way into a certain, like, yeah. Oh my god. And the best tank of all time is Frostfire Gauntlet Death's Dance Ezreal. We're having a good weekend so far? I'm having a good weekend. Yeah, I am. Viper will get player of the match. I think Shun is also up there too. But I think it probably adds Viper just running at them. I think Knight also getting a ton of gold was kind of big, but I think that Knight just was a bit chilling this game. Like, he gets a load of gold. Yeah, that was good. I don't really think he was like the person who instigated the best plays, I guess. The best tank was Echo by far. Oh god. I could do the best top 10 meta, the top 10 off meta builds of all time for pro, and that'd be stuff like Tank Echo. What else would be crazy with that? It was like AP Kai'Sa, maybe, or AP Zeri as well. Tank top Victor, bleh. Tank top Victor, bleh. Season 8, bleh. It was the Q Evolve first, Iceborne Gauntlet Victor, bleh. Nasty. Tank Fizz. You know, I'm so sad that in Season 5 and Season 6, we had Tank top Fizz, well, we had, like, Triforce Fizz top lane. Why did we never call it the Swordfish build? Why did we never call it the Swordfish build? Come on. But yeah, so I'm gonna put out some videos like that. I need to basically learn how to video edit stuff myself, but I have the vision in my head of how I want it to look, so it makes it easier, because then at that point I can just bodge it to try and make it look good. And I'm kind of, you know, I'm copying a format which I've seen do very well, and yeah. Okay, so well, IG did not look good enough to really fight back in this game, really. I'm gonna have to put on some adverts. Player of the game is Bin. Well, he did get a load of solo kills. And stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go put on an ad break, and I am going to be back in a number of minutes. Harold, I did just see that DM. Thank you so much. I will reply to that in a second. Okay, we back. How's it going, everyone? Can't play Rek'Sai, by the way. Yeah, he's not a great Rek'Sai player, sadly. Then again, not many people. The new GB 99. Yeah, the thing is that that's a little bit different, Rex. That was more like historical league content, which I do have some bits and pieces which I want to do eventually, funnily enough. Okay. Game was a headache and a half. It definitely felt like that a bit, yes. Oh, this is the Bondle thing again.
Yeah, 很难，这个芥末。
Ah, it's really loud. What the heck? Why is it so much louder compared to the... I think what happened was sometime during the break, they turned down the music because it was too loud. Oh, I also had my headphones up louder. Oops. Well, that's Urgot because there's no other six-legged champions. Again, we've seen this before, actually. They're running through the same content now.
我不知道它叫什么关系，我只知道它叫螃蟹。剑姬，这是一般都不会看，一般都是看武器吧，一般都是，就两个剑，这看不出来，这啥玩意儿？卢锡安吗？
Ah, yeah. I mean, Knight plays a ton of that, right?
这个比较像卢锡安，但第一个没那么像枪啊，但第一个有点像剑。
Oh, I can't remember which one. Oh, yeah, no, I remember this now. Yeah, this is... Yeah, this one's...
不是尾巴吗？
Yeah, this one really threw me for a loop. What the hell? That can't surely be that, and it was.
小炮吗？
I thought it was something with a tail. It's actually not. The thing on the back is not a tail. That really throws you off.
题目也不跳这么高啊！啊，黑墨丁格。我想一下，还有什么？
Close actually on that one though. It is Yordle.
想不起来了，我不知道了。炸弹人。
Ziggs. Not the tail on the back. It's the bomb with that thing attached to it.
跳这么高，我都不知道。
The thing which is rigged is that, yeah. But rigged is in like that has the bones attached to it.
对，完全看不懂哎。这个有点难，8条了，再看一个。
This is one of the bird champions, and with the really long legs, it's Rakan, right?
有个东西拖着。
That one's pretty easy. Rakan's movements are pretty easy to guess him by.
有这种东西。
Those champions in general are very well animated. Hey, fell. Oh wait, actually, TFC. This one I was wanting to say who was saying it's TFC.
有点像 W。
In high T too.
看来晚了，忘记了。
Yeah, I'm doing parent runs for Uma right now. I'm doing sprint parents, which is not something I've done before, but I've actually ended up with some pretty decent sprint parents now, which is not so much I had before. I lucked out with them. I got like a couple of, I got like a three, yeah, I got a load of like parent whip ones, which worked out pretty well. Has Sobra looked good at all in split ones since the end of the Demacia Cup? He had like one series. Versus JDG, he looked pretty good. In their win versus them. Besides that, no, not really. No, he's not looked great. I think that Photix looked very poor, and I think that Sobra's looked poor. Yeah, Sobra's been struggling. Which is a shame, because we thought he was at least entertaining and had good game sense in Demacia Cup. This doesn't look like that's lasted through to LPL proper. This may well be our last game of the day then, folks, not going to lie. BLG looked like they just outclassed IG in that first game. Despite the spiral that BLG were on, they just look like they're a better team than IG. Wei doesn't really care about dragons. Well, they paused the game for something vaguely tangential to that, so not sure about that. Wait, was that Legacy ever in question, TFC? Not sure about that. I think against JDG, you want to start and play Rek'Sai? Yes, he had that good Rek'Sai game. Yeah, for sure. Although, did he have a Scion game in that series too? No, that was in Demacia Cup. That's when he played that. Okay, back onto the stage. So what do IG do? Well, they need to... I didn't mind them having so many snap engage combos. That was actually fine. The draft wasn't bad. It was fine. I think it was a playable draft for sure. I just think they were worse players and they were not good enough in lane. They need to get better lane matchups. I don't think you can... I think you probably can't aim for even lane matchups now. You have to aim for... Well, not that I suppose it was particularly even in that last one, but you can't aim for that. You need to aim for actual, like, winning lanes, which is going to be a pain in the ass, really. Quick TO, then prepare for LEC? Yeah, I'll be watching it later. I need to see if I can somehow get co-streaming rights for LEC. That'd be really cool. Not sure if it's possible, but really cool. Okay, into the draft. Here we go. So game 2, BLG IG. IG will get first pick. BLG are on blue side, and really IG need better lane matchups. That's the thing that which we've picked out for them. They need better lane matchups. They were not good enough in lane versus BLG the last time. I think Knight just perma-pushed Rookie in. Bot lane got mashed. Top lane got solo killed. Even though on paper, bot lane and top lane were meant to be somewhat even. Mid lane's a bit of a wash, but this push advantage to the Rise. BLG just ran them through in lane. So the Varus is gone. What's available? No Rumble. I suppose there's the Azir. There's Nymaera. Sion locked in. Now, does BLG want to go Cassante? Do you want to go Trundle? What's the answer into the Sion? Nymaera seems fine here too for winning lane match, although Photic could just go Misfortune or Aphelios. One of the two is fine. Malphite banding. It's so crazy to see Malphite permaban. That's such a funny ban. Yeah, the Kai'Sa game earlier wasn't great here, for sure. Yeah, no, his Ziggs was arguably MVP in their win that they had in that game, the Ziggs game. Is that the win? Yeah, he was pretty good on the Ziggs earlier in the series. Game 1 and 2, Gala was fine. Yeah. Knight thinking about going for the Azir, not wanting to give the Sion Azir over. Now, of course, it's not a specialty of Knight's. I will say he's better in side lanes in it. The problem is he's just not a good team fighting Azir, not really. And BLG, when they have problems in teamfights anyway, not so sure about that. Okay, he's laughing. Oh, thank God. Zarhen locked into the Sion. It's a fight to champion topside. It's a winning matchup. Now, the problem is, Sobro is now playing into a losing matchup. If you play the Aphelios, you're pretty happy. You don't have the Lulu to buff it up, but then again, there's no Lulu on the other side. They lock in the Thresh. Better bot lane for them this time. Problem is, this is also like a bit of a brawling bot lane. On goes Bard. And if they win lane now with the Bard, Bard goes a roaming, and it's just unplayable, really. Is there a reason why Aphelios is always played with Thresh? 2 reasons. The Lantern can get Aphelios out of trouble when he's in danger. He's an immobile champion, it helps a lot. 2. When Aphelios has Gravitum, the rooting gun, you root someone, which gives a point-and-click hook. There are many ways you can kind of like synergize with each other on different item combos. But particularly Gravitum with the Binding Eclipse, it kind of just roots someone in place for a point-and-click hook. It's very, very nasty. Thresh in general works very well with AD carries which have a lot of damage, and then he can kind of set them up for success, and let's be honest, Aphelios has some of the highest DPS of any champion in the game. Second round, a Kali band away from Knight, Syndra away from Rookie. What do you think about stuff like Silas, Ahri, Talia? Silas, Ahri, Talia, those 3 are up right now. The Azir, of course, is up too. Does IG actually want to ban it? Imagine IG banning Knight's Azir. That would be quite funny. Go on. Ban Knight Azir. It'd be really funny. Come on. Please, IG, do it for the memes. Where's the Azir ban? Wukong away from BLG. Come on, IG. You can still ban it. You can still ban Knight Azir. Come on. And the thing is, though, if IG pick the Azir, then they might get Knight Ziggsed, which is, he's very good at that champion, which should be a problem. Wukong away from Wei. Yeah, that's true. No junglers on either side yet, actually. Still stuff like Poppy around. It's the Nocturne away from Shen. Huh. So I was trying to ban champions which can go straight on to the Aphelios. You can still Vi though, right? I think you Vi here for Shen pretty easy, no? Not like the Thresh can save you from that very easily. Do you just go Vi here? Wei might go Poppy on the other side, though, is the threat there. I think you still do it. It's good at reaching the Aphelios. There you go. So that opens up Talia, Ari as last picks. Maybe Aurora as well. Outside chance of a Vex, which has been hovered so much recently, but I don't know whether that's actually a meme or not. So now what does Rookie do? Does he go for Aurora to be more safe? Hovering it against Shin. Main of the champion Kindred. I mean, it technically is pretty good versus a single target comp. I think it's bad versus Arhen though. The Poppy is the easy one. We talked about that earlier. You're against technically 4-dash champions. Technically. Victor comes in. Ooh, this is very JDG. Yeah, JDG were doing this before. Victor Aphelios, they beat BLG with that the other day. It's very good for them. Now you start thinking about the Kiana. Ooh, it'd be very different from the Poppy. More damage means you have a third carry rather than 2 carries and 3 frontliners / utility. Oh, thinking about a lot of different picks here. Typically, we've seen the Mundo into the Malphite. Into the Vi, I suppose it's okay too. There's the Poppy. Yeah. Okay. Into so many dash champions makes a lot of sense. Knight does actually play a mean Veigar. He's actually a very good Veigar player. It's a better matchup than something like the Ari into the Victor, which can struggle early. You need something that can play with the Vi. Knight is here. Not his best champion. Not sure about that one. He's hovering it for a long-ass time. That is it. There you go. Alright, we're going to put on some ad breaks and make sure we don't get them into the game. Alright, Knight is it. I think IG walk away with a pretty good draft. Now you've got the Poppy to eject someone from the play. BLG have decent teamfight damage. I do think that they have good lane matchups again, though, which is a problem. If Thresh Aphelios doesn't like land every hook in lane, you can get some really bad situations there. The Yunara can just kind of run you through. Even Shuffle loses value into Thresh because the Lantern. You can't do it while it's actively being cast, by the way. So you still get caught by it a lot of the time. Yeah, he was playing yesterday as well, Samuel. Ben was playing yesterday too, don't worry. Onto the riff we go. Let's hear the gyos. Fun facts. Let me have a think for that. Haven't seen the last game, but I think IG has the better draft. They have a chance for this game. They're worse players, though, than BLG. Even though BLG have been on a spiral, we're still probably favoring BLG off of laning value. Because IG got blasted through lane last game. They don't survive lane through here, it's the thing. Fun fact. I'm trying to think of one for you, Abdul. Did you know that velociraptors, as shown in Jurassic Park, are probably about 5 times larger than they should be? Velociraptors, maybe not 5 times, but they're a lot bigger than they are in fossil records. Velociraptors were kind of sized up for the movies. The velociraptors are actually a lot smaller than the movie show. Probably I'd say under half the size. Hang on, he hits level 2 from the chime. Oh, interesting. Ah, so he gets a little bit of XP away from the wave. Very interesting. see that the push has gone to the Yunara early. As soon as you give access to the wave for Yunara and gets that Q stacked up, it's really hard to play into. Now, the thing is, this game is a lot harder for BLG to execute later on, because if you jump into a Gravity Field and a Chaos Storm, Victor kind of just ends the game. We saw that with Honkyu's Victor earlier in the week. Din has a great matchup into Sobero too. This could be an issue. Honestly, the this top lane matchup could be a huge issue. Rookie getting good trades onto Knight here so far as well. I think he's quite good in that early lane. He's another death ray there. Velociraptor is just a beta version of an ostrich. Well, there were there were a species of, well, the dominant predator in the world for many millions of years was the terror bird, which is like a giant bipedal hunting bird, the terrestrial one. Hang on, Dwayne's gonna lantern in Poppy. They just used the oh my god, the CC chain's pretty good. That's not bad for them. The healing shrine's not bad either. Where's the damage back? Dway goes down, and now suddenly part of your damage is gone with it too. Viper's pretty happy here. There is a flash on Dway. Will he be able to? Will he have to use it? We'll see. Should be okay. Knight is not happy that he has to flash it, no? Doesn't he just die? Knight? Safe. Not by a crazy amount. There's death ray. No mana for it from Rookie. You could see that there was the flash angle. Could have potentially killed. Yeah, Velociraptors are more like larger than chickens, but not like crazy life size. Called limit testing? Yeah, something like that. Teleport back into mid lane from Knight. Hasn't done the recurve though. Bought the first item way. Trading okay there with Shun actually. Doesn't stop the dash with the steadfast presence. Doesn't matter there. Oh, is this double scuttle crab? Okay, so Wei gets himself a kill but loses double scuttle crab. So magical journey was used. The CC chain came in. Very good lantern back from Dway. A lot of skill shots were used. You've used most of your cooldowns. That's rough. You know, Viper does a good job of turning onto Photic there, threatening him, moving him back into the play. That means that Photic isn't around for the easy follow-up autos, and that means that Wei goes down. So well played by Viper there to push Photic back out of the play, make sure his damage wasn't quite as easy to land. Now he has a kill. He's happy with that. Combining that, nice. Can walk up beyond the wave though. We're about to kill it anyway. Drake will just look for the damage there. Knight's gonna get stunned into Gravity Field here, so that'll be a guaranteed skill shot roll to tackle 2. Knight actually got his E damage onto Rookie there. Rare to see that in the laning phase, actually. Do we get a fight over Raptors? Shun is pretty far ahead in terms of XP. There's a smite for both of these players. Ooh, that time it goes to Shun. Wei was getting most of them the last game. And gets that smite there. They got first blood and behind in gold. Yeah, but we're seeing that Shun's getting the better. He got the double scuttles, and it was a 1-for-1. There's only 100 gold difference, whereas, you know, taking double scuttle crab will make up for that, plus the bit of a CS lead in mid lane. Knight almost at level 6. Ooh, that's gonna be some decent damage into him. Good grab fields by Rookie on the whole. Q would kill. Knight, does he have an E? He might just die here. He has to back off. Rookie getting a way better set of trades in the mid lane than Knight, who's not looking fantastic again on the Azir, actually. Typically, his laning phase is fine, but Rookie getting the better of him. No, it's not led to an actual CS difference, but there is a plate difference there. And, of course, the flash being down. Well played by Rookie. And why do we keep doing this Knight Azir thing, man? Why do we keep doing this? Okay, Viper trying to stack up that Q. Does get the auto attack reset. Need to not walk too close to the Thrash. If you get flayed and get hit by the Glacial, you feel pretty bad. Of course, Dway is a mechanical support, typically very successful, and the likes of the Nico's been big for him. Of course, it didn't work for that last time. And again, folks, by the way, if you're watching on third-party sites, obviously I won't be able to see your chats and stuff. If you'd like to come through into Twitch chat, which is twitch.tv/Nymaera, come join the chat. Come join the community. It helps me keep things live as well. You know, I'm not paid to do this besides viewership and the ad revenue from it. Occasional subscribers. Quite a few subscribers, actually. You're all very generous with me. If you're enjoying what you're watching here and seeing it today, think about dropping a follow like that. Appreciate it an awful lot. Got to say that I got to say that a couple of times this stream, though. You know, I got to shill. Got to be out there marketing myself, you know. Oh, gosh. Bot lane from Photic and Dre behind about 10 CS. Potential sweep, good flash away from Rookie there. But he is down that summoner now. And that's suddenly Knight actually even in CS and it's even in summoners too. Looks a little bit better. That Sion's going back towards top lane to farm there. Turret over the wall. The rifle turret's very important. Look, everyone who's a main of a champion will always predict you to backstep. So if you just walk in a straight line, typically you dodge a lot of like thrush hooks or blitzcrank hooks if you just walk in a straight line. Basically the way that I view it is like, if someone is really confident, then you throw a skill shot in a straight line. If they're not, you throw it just behind them and they'll walk back into it. They'll backstep. They'll second guess themselves. Way looking for a wallstone maybe. Does get the smite this time, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Saw a bigger number appear over his head, I think. You got at least 40 gold from that. Maybe you didn't get the big one then. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, how much more gold the big one is. Been about 10 CS up on Sobro. He's happy with this matchup. Ooh, just hit that Dark Return. Close to that passive being up, which is the big part of Zahen's damage. Any chance of IG winning this game? Yeah, because compared to last game, certainly. The lanes are actually surviving this time. Knight's on Azir. And IG have the better teamfight comp. So yes, there's absolutely a chance that IG can win this game, especially compared to that last one. Hey, more Pika Pika. Good to see you again. Thanks for the sub. 7 months? Wow, that's almost a year. Grub started up by BLG on the top side of the map. Now, the Poppy Thresh is a really threatening early damage combo, actually. Thresh actually has a surprising amount of damage for the first levels of the game. One Grub was taken by Shun. I think it'll be 2 over to the side of IG, quite comfortably so. Thank for the follows as well. Viper will have to do a lot of work. Yeah, he will, but the Yunara's not fantastic at killing Sion. Not going to lie, especially when there's stuff like a Gravity Field and Death Rays around. On, oh dear, that could be a problem. Is there a flash wall stun? Yeah, there is. On, ever the roaming support. Gets punished there. Goes down, uses the heal. Rookie has no flash. They'll use the Viol to secure the kill. Good play through the mid jungle. Knight gets a kill onto Rookie. Blew that flash earlier. Kills him at the second revisit. Now BLG slightly farther ahead in gold. Good punish from IG in the jungle support though. Oh my god, Viper's just grilling them! Oh my god, Viper, where did that damage come from? Hits the Kraken Slayer and 1v2s. Snake sinks the fangs in and Photic goes down. Viper, my dude, that was an insane kill combo. Viper gets himself up to 2-0. Kraken Slayer, such a big spike for the champion, especially with the attack speed on the Q, giving you that auto-attack reset as well. Damn! Okay, so Photic goes down, blows both summoners too. Viper does as well, so both AD carries down their summoners. But then again, if you're playing for summoners versus no summoners, Vi loves playing against a flash that's AD carry. Photic just didn't have the first item. Was building towards that first item collector, didn't have it. And Viper says, oh, well, okay, you don't have the damage. You don't have the damage. I didn't expect that amount to come out, though. That was insane. Not sure where all that came from. That was kind of crazy. Do you want to see... why don't you ever see proxying in LPL? You don't see it in many places, honestly. Do you? You see it occasionally, but not a crazy amount. Photic has his utility weapons. Could potentially go for that route into the hook. Do they see way? No, you don't. Hook onto the minion. Sure. Oh, swing and a miss. Photic. What is that? What a CC onto on. Not enough damage to make the most of it, though. Viper has his ult again now. Viper has his ult again now. That's a problem. That's a real problem. He might just kill him again. Oh, Viper, you sweet AD carry. 2 to the all-star AD carry. He might die, but what a play from the AD carry of BLG. Wei will try to live. Knight's going to sweep in. It takes down Wei. Flips back Rookie. Has his own flash. Viper is on a mission. 4-1 on the Nymaera. He has just judged the damage so well. Goes back to base. He's got himself a Zeal as well. Viper. You know, he's had a bit of a rough start to BLG. More than that. He's had a poor start to BLG compared to his standards especially. Viper just runs him through. Dragon goes down there too now. The BLG get 1 grub, 2 dragons. They're ahead 2,000 gold. And IG, they just can't stand and fight. Knight, hang on, guys. Is he going to be okay? Cinematic replay this. Why not? Gets the auto attack reset. Flips forwards. And just the damage is absurd. They just don't have the damage. Flashes over the box wall too, even. And this is the second 1v1. Gets that very slick auto reset. Arc of Judgment. Slams home the damage. The Poppy ult's not bad, but it doesn't save Wei, who's already in the weeds at that point. Viper even does a decent amount of damage down onto Wei. Well, Sam, Viper's having a hell of a game. You might want to go rewind the VOD a little bit and see what disaster... Sam, he just 1v2'd Photic Wei and then kind of 1v2'd them again, / 1v3'd. Yeah. Everyone say hi to Sam in chat, my brother, who normally does cast on this channel. It's kind of like our shared channel now, really. That hook from Thresh was funny. Sometimes you're just trying to predict movement, which just never happens. Sometimes Thresh can leave you looking really silly if you're trying to mind game, when actually you should just throw the hook straight at them. Viper hasn't been playing well, but people overreact way too much from a few bad series. He was particularly bad in the JDG series, where he had a Varus with a very large lead and then made some quite big misplays. That one wasn't great. But it's more like Viper's been quiet, and like I was saying, Viper was the best AD carry in the world last year, across the average of it, by my opinion and many others. Now, Viper has very, very high standards, and suddenly if he's being quiet, not really changing the game, that's a failure for Viper in many ways. You know, and BLG, they're meant to be this team which is meant to be world-beating, best team in the LPL, incredibly strong roster. They've not reached those highs yet. They've not reached those highs. Viper is incredibly talented, one of the most prolific players of League of Legends in the world. He's a world champion, LCK champion, LPL champion. Wait, hang on. Does he count as a... Hang on, let me think. Yes, he does count, because they had that Griffin split, right? The only reason BLG will stumble is internal issues. I'm also worried about coaching and drafts, to be honest. I think there is a checklist of things that can go wrong for them. You know, we saw this last year where they also had technically a very, very strong roster. And they failed, really, last year. I'm worried about a lot of different things for them. He tries to smite Viper on the way back. Okay, alright, fine. Goes back. Oh my god, he's got Fiend Hunter bolts already. Viper's LCK split with Summer 24. Yes, H-Lee Summer 24, that's the one. I was trying to remember that Griffin. Yes, of course, one. Oh, they catch up Photic. He does have Flash. He has the Lantern too. Oh my god, the damage! Oh my god, he has to throw out the ultimate. Viper sidesteps the hook. He can actually dash to them again. That's a problem. The Poppy has to evacuate the situation because Viper was about to kill him again. Photic, Wei, make it out to safety, but Viper starting to really, really hurt. More than that, he's continuing to hurt. Knight takes down a bot lane turret. This game has been Vipers. This series has been Vipers, though. Game 1 of the series, that Sivir was disgusting. Knight puts up the turret. That's going to buy them the Herald. Reminder that the Fiend Hunter bolts give you ultimate cooldown reduction as well. Where's going to walk over to Viper? I don't think he cares. He can actually 1v3 here. He legitimately can 1v3. Where's the damage? Viper can walk up and say, well, it's only the FLS that potentially could hurt me, and is he a half HP? Doesn't matter. Herald's going low. There's a teleport behind them. Nymaera doesn't have the ultimate up again just yet. Flying into the play, ults onto the Poppy to try and stop the steadfast presence. There's a steal of the Herald. Not bad from Wei, but now they're brought into the fight. What happens after this? Rookie has that flank over the side. Shin's gone down. Kelstorm's not bad there. Wei flashing away. Not bad in terms of the retreat. Bin pulls back Sobro. At the end of the day, it's not looking too bad. Ben didn't get on the return journey. Viper, though, does have his ult again. Maybe getting onto Photic. Can't quite get that get in range at time. Photic will get away with the Ghost. That's why he was able to escape there. Viper still has his ultimate to throw. Viper could kill them here, folks. Viper can kill them here, and I think he's trying for it. It's very, very close. Rookie almost taking down Viper. Photic, one last auto would have done it for him. Viper trying to get the last auto. No! The sweep's not bad, though. The sweep's not bad at all. They still have enough damage, maybe, to take the fight. Viper's out of the play. He's got to recall, come back into it. The magical journey. I don't know if he'll get away from Sobro. Well, it might get away from him. No, it doesn't. Sobro takes the kill. Knight trying to chase down Rookie. Zahan, does he stick around? No! Viper is still not at the play. There's a kill back and forth. Azir goes down 4-way. What a mess! Invictus Gaming, if nothing else, provide top-tier LPL entertainment. You're kidding me in the fact that they walk in, steal the Herald, and somehow make what is meant to be an awful early game into somewhat of a playable one. They're still down 2k. They're still going to lose the Dragon, but IG almost walk away with a winning situation there. Almost. How insane is that? So it comes up to this first, where Viper's used his ult. Herald is well and truly down. They steal it, and Rookie gets a really good fight. This is classic Rookie flanking play. And suddenly you think, well, okay, well, you know, Viper's having to back off. We're in a decent spot here, but then Fota gets chunked out. They don't have the AD carry. This is where things get kind of ha-ha-tee-hee funny mode, you know? Where On gets a double stun to save most people's life. On Viper, very nearly kills Sobro. Oh god, Viper started to go back to life. What happened here? Sobro used the ult. Viper used Cleanse. You can imagine the series of events with something like Hook, Cleanse, Scion Smash. We'll probably need a replay of that. Viper has been the most powerful person on the map. Whenever he dies, that is a big thing. IG, not getting kills on that Nymaera. The game becomes a lot more playable. Like a lot more playable. We are going to need a replay. This is why replays are really annoying when big things are happening on the map. Plus one, you know, I like watching the macro. It's kind of nice. Photic doesn't have, if he walks up to this wave, Photic dies. Clear the ward in there. Photic did see that. Now the problem is, IG don't have an AD carry. I know it looks like it. You can see that there are 5 people logged into the server, but let me tell you, they don't have an AD carry. Oh, did they try and run onto Photic? Oh, so they warded the Lanson. Oh, so he did die. They killed Viper. They killed Photic at the first bit. Right, that makes sense. So what happened after this? Because Viper died. That's actually the more important bit. Like, Photic dying is whatever. So he gets hooked. He cleanses. And then what happens after? It's a good hook. Gets rid of the cleanse. Do they just get Scion ulted? What happens? Don't tell me he gets hooked again. Does he get hooked again? Oh, he goes into the Stefan's presence. He gets 3 tower shots. Oh, dear. Ben's going to die here. Double. Hang on, the healing's not bad. He's still dead, though. Rookie will kill him. Rookie's having a solid game on the Victor. Although, I just realized that Knight does have 5 kills on his ear. That changes things. We've talked a lot about Viper. Knight is on his ear. And while he's had, again, not the best, most precise playmaking. 5 kills on a carry champion do tend to make you pretty powerful. Shun steps backwards, meaning that Knight takes the damage from the Scion. They're all going to get out on the magical journey, though. Blue buff went to BLG. Okay, so they do get the buff still. That's gone for the Leandri second, by the way, too. Wants to cut through that front line. Not everyone does that on his ear right now. Finn is down 1.7 thousand gold, by the way. Sobro, who had an awful time with things in game 1, is now suddenly in a much happier point in power. He got the shutdown of Viper, maybe? That would make sense. Now, what happens if Viper dies enough and this Scion gets very, very fed? What happens then? Well, sadly, I'm not sure it actually changes that much because Photic just isn't a champion. I guess he has 2 items. He's down 2,000 gold. It's going to be a full item down on Viper soon if he goes this way. Keeps going this way. That's with, you know, Viper dying now. Second time. Now, the things to pay attention to are obviously, like, Viper's safety. Need to see how Knight does in team fights, too, because realistically, his team fights, it's an ult onto the Thresh teleport. I think you just leave now. You just leave now. Wade's coming into the mid lane, charging onto On. Does he pop them up with the ult? Yes, he does. Here comes the Sun. Can they kill the Bard? They force the flash out. Does that change anything? Oh, it's not bad. Close. So preciously close to that collector burn damage. Or the execute damage. Doesn't quite work out. Ends up being a summoner trade, not a kill trade. On lives. Flash down. Sobro teleporting away. That means that Knight gets free time on the tower. Knight's a very good side lane player. Should be able to safely go through here with no slide. Just slide away fine. Doesn't change that much. Sobro, though, credit to him. Actually a threat now. See that Azir is something chunk through him there. There's no magic resist really on Sobro. Right? There's the null magic mantle, but it'll be somewhat equalized. They're going to jump into mid lane again? They might try for it. Viper does have flash, does have cleanse. He does have 3 items too. I do not think they want that fight with the 3 items. He just has like a freshly minted Infinity Edge. That's going to hurt a lot. Dragon up in 20 seconds. This would be Infernal Soul for BLG. Should have really talked about that before. Knight trying to take down that top lane turret. BLG might leave this, take the top lane turret, try and advance the map. But then again, if he... Knight, you probably want to recall and, you know, get to the dragon, because that's actually a win condition. Maybe do that. 5 people from IG stacked up around this. Knight's got a lot of gold he wants to spend. He's doing this a little late. Dragon started by IG. Knight's late to the play, going down below half HP now. Sign Q onto the Zarhan. Shun into the back of the... They're just going to do this 4v5. Sure, fine, cool. Do it 4v5. See if we can get the steal. Goes to Vipe. Shun gets the steal. The Infernal Soul is theirs. Was it a good objective setup? No. No, it was not. Does it matter? Also, no. No, it does not. A sweep into the back line. Infernal Soul empowered Azir. Gets himself a triple-double. We'll call it that triple. There you go. Cyan adds onto it. BLG slaughter the way through the fight. Should that have worked? No, not really. But I don't think they'll care now. BLG walk away with the objective, with the kills, and IG get rattled. Baron's alive. Everyone basically dead on IG. How the hell did that go so bad? How did that go so bad? Well, they lose the smite. They can't get onto the carries. They can't put Sion in the right place to hold the front line, and IG melts. Evaporates. Shatter. Other great adjectives for fights like that. Yeah. Poppy didn't ult. Did he die before he could? He was trying to retreat, I believe. I think they were waiting until Bin was back alive there. He did get the Baron buffs. They do manage to transfer it over to all 5 members. Bin is still down 1.5k gold, by the way. The Q out of the bush, not fantastic. I think Jway... Yeah, missing that hook definitely hurts. Photic also damaged there too. I think Wei... Oh, no, his ult was on cooldown. Look at that. His ult's on cooldown if you look at the spectator. I believe it is anyway. Dragon's stolen. And the Wei gets blasted. I think it's coming off the cooldown now, maybe. And then they just can't hold the front line. Azir gets into the back. Defelis isn't really a champion anyway. It's only really Rookie that does damage, and he can't do everything himself. Photo just gets deleted, man. I think Wei's ult was on cooldown in that fight. If not, it should have been used in the lead up to the fight, and it would have really helped them.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
3,000 gold ahead in both mid and AD carry now. 8 kills on Azir for Knight. What? Now, I have to say, Knight hasn't been asked to do a crazy amount this game. I will say that. And Viper still is the player of the game. He really just ran through this early game. At this point, though, it's just a done deal. You know, 6k up, Infernal Soul. As long as there's one, like, damaging member from BLG alive, they probably just win the game. On the other side, IG, I mean, their laning phase was better this time, but this was the worry when I saw Photic on this roster. They could have had 1xN. They tried to get Doggo, I believe, and that didn't work out. IG, they need a better AD carry. I think they should fish for Jachi or 1xN in the off-season, in, like, between splits. See if 1xN will stay on LMG. Oh my god, Viper's just going to explode. Oh my lord, Viper! The Aphelios is meant to be a counter matchup. Well, admittedly, not really the case for any champion when you're 3,000 gold down. Nymaera blitzes Photic. They're gonna go on. They're gonna. Wait, dies here maybe. Viper very nearly kills him. Good damage from Rookie though. Will take down On, who went way too close to the wall. Lots of wall synergies from IG there with that Poppy. However, it's not going to stop the push. Knight, so much damage to towers. Nash's Tooth, Infernal Soul, some Magic Pen as well, which, yes, does apply to towers. On-side a few times, going a little too far this game against the Thresh and the Poppy. And punished again, that. Didn't Photic play on LEC? No, Photon played on Vitality top lane. And currently, he's playing in the LCS now. And Photon was very good. He was very good. Very good Gragas player. Very good Jax player, too. That was the point where I think Vitality had a first regular season finish. They bombed out of playoffs, but they did actually finish very high up. Oh, maybe it was third. Maybe not first. They had a very good regular season, then they fell apart. Solid, tell you what, solid game from BLG overall. I mean, Viper's the guy who's carried this game. That being said, BLG have done well at playmaking when the players needed to be made. I think Knight has had a more solid game on the Azir than sometimes we see from him in terms of playmaking. And again, however, it has to be caveated by the fact that I don't really feel like Knight was asked to do that much. Picked up a load of kills. It's good for him. It's got a load of damage. It's likely be quite a clean win from BLG. In terms of the Knight Azir factor, I am not... I'm not sitting here telling you that, ooh, Knight Azir, it's 8-0, it's blah, blah, blah. It's really powerful now. I still have some issues with it. The early laning phase against Rookie was a bit rough. Rookie had a good time at that. But that being said, you know, it traded back evenly. You know, both blew each other's summoners. Knight ended up setting up again for Shin to kill him a little later. Game's slowing down. 15 seconds until Elder. I mean, if there's any team in the LPL that will randomly flip from, you know, nearly 10,000 gold down and win it an Elder, probably is IG. Game doesn't really make much sense, but hey, I'm here for it. Oh my god, that is your tank? That's your tank? Viper's actually doing significant damage there. The Lord Domus Regards means that it's significantly out of damage. We had a lot of questions about BLG because of the spiral it seemed they're going into, and of course losing versus top Esports yesterday really hurts. The problem here is IG are the worst team in Group Ascent, and it sucks to say it because I think they started well. Inhibitor is taken down by the way. 10 seconds till. My dude, you do actually need to come down to the play now. You can get cancelled by the Scion. Now the question is, you could actually look for an Inhibitor, and guys, you can't let the Elder go over. Guys, he's teleport. Who's that? That's the Zarhen teleporting on the flank. It's the Inhibitor down from Azir. It's getting down to a little bit lower. That's going to be a cancel teleport. This is so obvious! Suddenly the Azir's out of the play. Now the problem is your Scion is too. They're skipped away from that ultimate. It might not matter, folks. I think that they're not even going to get to it. Sobro not being there doesn't really change much for them. In fact, Sobro might actually just not be able to defend the Nexus either. The fight's going worse and worse for Invictus Gaming. The Elder never got low enough. And the team falls apart. I think at this point, I don't even think they need to go and take the Elder if they don't want. I think they can just push up an end, can't they? 50 seconds on the carries. Magical journey over. Why not? Go finish the game, I think. No, they are not doing that. Okay, fair play. That was risky, though, from BLG. I don't like the fact that Knight got so obviously cancelled by the Scion. You know, choose a better teleport location, you know? Oh my god, the Elder. The burn! The Andres just kills him! The Andres just kills him! Knight gets another 4 stacks of the Medjais, which he just bought, by the way. He has that. And he dies. He gets the Elder midway through the trade, kills him. Sobro disrespecting that, does not have the magic resist to survive that. Knight picks up his 9th kill. That one probably more impactful than several others. Picks up a red buff as well. Yes, Azir does apply them on his soldier autos now. Crazy LEC top lane times, Photon, Chasey, and Ebby just for Dom and Veteran to get. Yeah, they really didn't like those players, did they? On, looking for the wall start into Rookie is very, very dead. The Elder Dragon roars, Rookie bows his head. Before he loses it, Shin takes the Baron, BLG, well, Sobro's still dead. The Victor's gone, who's the only person who actually does damage on this IG team. It has been a disaster class for Photic today, who's 4k down now. Nymaera's bringing up the rear, making sure that the next wave is coming in. BLG, a dominant series against one of the struggling teams here in Group Ascend, but a dominant series nonetheless. IG This one is not looking particularly defensible. Shun has his ultimate. Doesn't want to fly into the fountain, of course. They're trying to push in all the waves at the same time. Popul goes on to the Nymaera. I don't think it changes much, though. Not really. Sick. Pinned down. And now they don't have wave clip. Turrets go down. Death by 1,000 cuts. 1,000 prayer beads. A shuffle into the wall. And the Elder will take a few more names. Finn will go into the Nexus. He'll die, guys. Guys, the fountain hurts. They'll finish off the series 2-0 to BLG, who arrest their fallen standings. A fairly clean series from BLG. I don't even know who the best team is in the LPL. Yeah, me neither, buddy. Me neither. You know, JDG lost earlier today to Anyone's Legend. BLG beat Anyone's Legend. JDG beat both of them in turn at different points. Weibo beat JDG twice. Top Esports are 1-on-1 with Weibo. They also beat BLG just yesterday too. They look like they're actually having a bit of an uptick in form. It is all over the place, folks. All over the place. Okay, folks, I'll just do this one last time. My name is Nymaera. Thank you for joining me today for LPL. It's been very cool to bring to you today's games. And if you have enjoyed this gameplay and the cast of it as well, please think about dropping a like, a follow, subscribe. It does make a big difference to me as I'm not paid to do this. I only get to do this because you support me, because I spend so many hours doing this. It's my job, effectively. Now, I loved casting the LPL. I've done it for many years. I was on the LPL official broadcast before it was shut down. And I really enjoy bringing it to you all. So if you have a favorite LPL streamer, think about supporting them now, and it might just be me. Ooh, crazy. Okay, I'm going to go raid you over to someone if you're on YouTube. The show will end here. Otherwise, I will see you around. Thank you so much for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, I'm going to send you over to Caltis. Say hi to Caltis, and